Right on.
Well, what's up, Drew?
What's up, Janine?
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
And I know you're nervous.
Yep,
Don't be nervous.
I'm nervous.
Yeah. It's actually probably not helpful when I say that to
Probably
people.
not, dude. You didn't have to put
It's
me
not
on.
going to do anything.
And it's like, oh yeah, put me on blast
Yeah,
in front of
that's true.
everyone. All right.
No, but
that's
like
great.
the audience is full of addicts with a lot of grace for people. And so actually now that set you up better because everyone listening is going to be like, yeah, that's relatable. I'd be nervous too. Whereas if you walked in and I've had guests that are like, not fucking nervous at all, blah, blah, blah. I've done this show and that show and this show. And my audience is like, oh, okay.
Listen, I've never done a podcast before.
Right.
Much less a 1% podcast with a lot of good reviews. You know what I mean? So
I like how you did that.
This is a big deal for me, right?
I like how you did that.
So,
and if we get hot, I'll turn the air on too, because sometimes I get really hot while I'm interviewing. Are you warm?
yeah.
Okay, let me turn the air on. Okay, you guys have to be sweet. You're being kind of sweet so far. Don't knock that wire. Good, Anthony. Oh no. Anthony. He's the rescue. He's the one that we just got. He's so cute.
How long have you had him?
July 19th, so almost a year now. But I'm so like, I'm such a cheap ass.
Yeah, I've had my dog for 2 years now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I need to just say we're obviously keeping him, but he's technically still a foster because there's this weird part of me that's like, what if he's really expensive?
I mean,
But no matter what he costs now, I'm keeping him. I love this dog. But in the very beginning, when we picked him up, Skylar told the lady when we got there, she was like, he said, oh, well, we're definitely going to keep him.
yeah.
And I said, well, we might not because he might be expensive. And I could tell Skylar just thought I was like such a fucking stingy bitch. And after, but I didn't want to say. And in fact, in the first week, he got really sick. He had like pneumonia because we brought him up from Mexico. He did get like a $500 bill, which she covered. He hasn't had anything else since then. But I need to tell her that we're officially keeping him because it's been almost a year.
I mean, yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like my dog Frank, like I had him for like at least for like the first year, I'd constantly remind him, like, bro, like I saved you from death row, and like you can go back real fucking quick, dude. If you don't like.
Wait, that's
act
your dog
accordingly.
that I know?
Yeah.
He's a pit bull, like
He's a pit bull husky
mixed with something,
yeah,
right?
pit bull
Okay.
husky. Yeah.
Yeah. He's kind of scary looking, but he's very sweet.
I mean, scary looking, really? I don't know. He's got like those blue eyes.
He's got blue eyes.
He's pretty handsome.
Maybe
I
I'm
think.
picturing a different, but has he got a chain on him?
Nah. You're not thinking of my dog.
Okay, then I'm not
no
thinking
one
of your
has
dog.
ever described my dog as scary.
Okay, then I'm thinking of a different dog.
Yeah, no.
Were you there when I got into an argument with, not a real argument, but CJ? CJ.
Yeah.
From
no,
around.
CJ, yeah.
I've interviewed him. So for a couple of weeks, somebody was bringing their dog. The chick had 4 or 5 months, I guess, which I didn't know. But she was bringing her dog, and the dog was like scaring people and almost attacking them. A giant German Shepherd. And it was supposed to be like a, what is it called?
A service animal?
Yes. But I was like, that dog isn't serving anybody. And like a guy took a newcomer tip, and as he went by, this German Shepherd lunged at him. If he had gotten his calf, I mean, the guy would have gone to the hospital. It scared him. He's new, which I know. I don't know her time story, whatever. Barking the whole meeting. It was very disruptive of the meeting. It happened for like a month in a row. And then we had a business meeting. And I was like, okay, so proposal or whatever. What's it called? Like a proposal or whatever.
Motion.
Yeah. Yes.
Motion is something.
If your dog isn't trained, like maybe they're not ready to be in the meeting yet, because we're not even supposed to have animals in the church anyways.
Only service animals.
Yeah, which Brooklyn is quiet. I know your dog is quiet, even though I can't picture him. I know he's quiet.
He's really good.
Yeah. And CJ, but Skylar later was like, I think he was doing that just to be argumentative, because he was like, well, let me ask you this. What if the only thing that's keeping that person sober is that she can bring that animal with her, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, CJ, what if the only thing keeping that guy sober is that he didn't get his calf torn off?
Well, group conscience, dog, you know what I mean? That's why we're voting on it. So.
And we voted, and I don't remember what the vote was. She's
not around anymore, so she's probably dead now. So
probably my fault.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Wouldn't be the first time you almost made that mistake with someone. So you gotta be careful with people.
So I was actually thinking on the way over here, when you were driving over here, as I was cleaning up the house, I was like, well, his opinion probably can't get any lower than me based on our very first interaction, which I'm actually going to share on this podcast.
Okay.
It might be the worst thing I've ever done in my life. If you zoom out and really examine what that was, That was really shitty. So what year was it? It was 21, 22? When was it?
So it would have had to have been like, yeah, like probably like 20, I would say,
Okay.
like, or something like that, right?
Was
Because
it COVID?
yeah, because I got sober like for this round, like
Yeah.
December 26th, 2021. Like that's my sobriety
All
date.
right. Okay.
But like before that, I
Okay.
was trying to get
So it was
sober.
COVID-y.
Yeah, it was definitely
So
it was definitely
that
deep,
is
deep
my
COVID. Yeah.
okay. That is my only excuse, and it's still not an excuse. So, guys, what we are referencing is that, and I'll never forget the way that we found it too. Did you remember that that had happened or no until you put my number in?
So I didn't even know like you really. I just knew you were like the doghouse chick, right? Like like that's like
Fair.
like from just like meetings and stuff like that, And like I'd see you like lead once in a while, and then you started coming to like Saturday. You and Skylar started coming more, right? And so yeah, and then we started talking about that. And by this time, like I'm like a very upstanding member of like the recovery community. I've
You're
got my
doing H and
yeah, I'm doing
I.
H&I panels and stuff like that. And so then we start talking about the panel.
So Drew wants me to do H and I,
Yeah.
and I'm like, fine, okay, fine. I'll do H and I, sure. So we exchange numbers. And as he types my number in, he's like, wait, I already have a text from you, or I've already texted you before. And it is a text from 2020. And it's like, hey, are you the contact for local HA?
Yep.
Like, I need help.
Yeah, yeah. I was asking about HA meetings. Are you the person for HA meetings? And it was blank.
And I
Nothing.
didn't answer.
No response. Just straight got ignored. And I was like, oh, well, look at this.
Which is horrible. And we're standing there in the meeting, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And it was years ago. Obviously, now you're sober, but still, I feel, and I was the contact on that website for years because I had volunteered to be, and I've definitely answered other people, and I can't believe that happened. And the only excuse that I would have is that it was the worst time of my entire life. It's when my studio was shut down. You have a small business now. It was when my business was shut down, and like, I'm sure I know you didn't have a business at that time, but we were on the hook for full rent.
For sure.
Even though I couldn't charge anybody. I stopped sponsoring during that time. That's when I quit coming to meetings. And in fact, like, that's one of the reasons why I'm so grateful for our Saturday is because Jacob and Ashley and the younger guys inspired me to start having commitments again. And I hadn't been,
Crew that does love
it's a really
stuff.
good crew,
Yeah, for sure.
and I'm like, fuck, all right, I should definitely be doing things starting with this H&I. And then it turns out it's like one of the worst things I ever did in my whole life. I'm really sorry.
Worst things, that seems like, a lot. That seems extreme, but
Well,
it was
but when
pretty.
you think
It
about
was
it, it's a big deal.
It
Like,
was
here's
pretty.
this
I mean, yeah,
guy,
you were
he's taking a chance, he's reaching out, asking for help with, like, and I know, this is what I mean. And obviously, like, I've robbed people before. I was charged with armed robbery. Like, it's not the worst. But at the same time, in a way, it is because I know how unlikely it is for someone who is actively using to get to a point where they're going to pick up their phone and they're going to text an unknown number from a fucking website. Just maybe they'll get some direction. All of that is so unlikely. And for you to have done that, taken the chance, and then that contact ignores you.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie, like that was a rough time in my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was just going to like a therapist like every week. You know what I mean? Like I'd see my therapist like once a week, and I was just strung the fuck out on fentanyl or heroin at the time. And every time like I'd go talk to her about like, like I need to stop. And I had this big thing at the time where like I'd like make this whole plan where like, I'd like stock my house up with like, juice and yogurt or whatever. I'm like, I'm gonna kick dope and I'm just gonna, withdraw and shit. And then I'd do it for like a week or two, and then like I'd kick, and then, all the stuff that I put off during that week, I'm like, God, I need to do this. I have no energy,
Oh, you
help, like,
would kick.
Yeah, I'd kick. I'm real good at
Okay.
kicking. Like I
I
like to,
wasn't.
yeah, no, I'm real good at like withdrawing. Just like I can lock myself in the house and
Skylar
like,
was too.
yeah, I like to watch movies with other people withdrawing while I'm like, kicking dope, and then I'm watching them kick dope, and I'm like, don't do it.
It's part of the cycle for him. He would do, and it was not for me. And it made our use really different, right? Like his use was so much, he was an oxy person. So much oxy, he's almost unconscious. But he does it all until it's gone. And then when he wakes up, he's dope sick with no plan. I never let that shit happen ever.
Oh yeah, no, I'm with you.
Ever.
When I'm actively using, like I was just talking to my buddy about this today. Like when I'm actively using, I'm never that guy that's gonna do all my dope at night and then figure it out in the morning. Like there's always a get well.
Me
You know what I mean?
too.
Like I listen,
I
sometimes my
always had a
morning,
wake up.
yeah, my morning might start a little earlier than
Right.
normal.
Or it's only a
Yeah,
dime.
yeah,
You know,
but it's something.
it's a 10 cc shot, but it is something so that I can
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Me
I
too.
needed it so I could,
Me
go
too.
run and gun, do whatever
And
I
I
had
would
to.
keep it. I
Yeah.
would save it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm like that.
I actually would.
But when it was time, like there's a lot of times like, okay, like this shit's getting like crazy and unmanageable, like I need to stop. I was also really good at like locking in and just like doing it. But then what would happen is after, I
You got to
did
get
it,
back to work or whatever.
yeah, and then I'm like, oh, what probably help if I just did like heroin just today, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just to like do it. Like that was like my that was the craziness and insanity for me, is just always like just thinking like for some reason, even though I just spent all this time being dope sick and I've done it a million times, that I can just do it this one time and it's going to be different this time. You know what I mean? Over and over and over again.
Mine was thinking I could do meth.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't lead to heroin. Because I always told myself, to this day, I still kind of say it, that shooting meth was my drug of choice, I'll say. But I've done way more heroin than anything else. And every time I was just going to do meth and I would end up strung out on heroin anyways. It was honestly weird. Like, because I'm like, no, I have the wherewithal. And like, we're older, right? We're not 18 doing this shit, okay? I was like fucking 33, 34, 35. And I'm like, I have the wherewithal to know I'm going to only buy speed. It's all I want to do anyways. I fucking hate tar. It's disgusting. I'm only going to do speed. And I would be with it, not even a long time. Within 2 weeks, I would also be strung out on heroin. And like, I remember one time my connect brought me heroin instead because I used to buy a lot of heroin from him.
Yeah.
And I was in rehab. I was at FRC in Oceanside. And I met up with him and he brought me a needle and he brought me meth instead, like, 40. And I was like, and I was mad, really. And I was like, I don't want this shit. I want heroin. And he was like, all right, well, I'll take it back. And I was like, no, I mean, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, or no, I'm sorry, the opposite. He brought me meth. He brought me heroin and I wanted meth. Yeah. And I was like, well, no, I'm going to do it.
He's like, you're going to do it anyways in a week, so you might as well just fucking start right now.
Well, but like he didn't even know, you know what I mean? Like he really was like, like he was like, oh, sorry, Miha, I fucked up. I don't remember. Like I remember the conversations, my friend Javi. And I was so mad, but I did the dope anyways. And like, I think that's why, but that's the only time where it was kind of an accident. Every other time, it was my choice after only a few days. And I can't even remember. You couldn't pay me to remember what my logic must have been. I want to do both at the same time. I don't only want to be up. I want to come down. I was always living in sober livings or something when I was using. So I had to like present normally to people. So that must have been why I also did it. But that was why HA was the most impactful for me, is because it was hard for me to read AA literature and say I'm powerless over alcohol. I didn't feel that way.
100%. Yeah.
But when I got to HA for the first time, the Friday night, the step house meeting, somebody did answer my phone call.
Yeah, no.
I'm just kidding. Somebody brought me there. But still, I sat down with the paper and I remember it was the first meeting I'd ever gone to. And when it said we're powerless over heroin, I was like, you know what? That's true though.
100%.
That one's true.
Yeah.
And it changed me.
I fuck with that because
Right.
I am a junkie. I love heroin. I liked Oxy. Like that was like my fucking jam. Like I wanted that all the time. And everything else was just like other stuff that we just did for fun on top of it, But like a lot of times, like I'd get arrested and I'd go to jail, I'd kick and I'd be down and then I'd get out. And then it was always like, oh, I'm just going to drink, you know what I mean? Like, and then I drink and then I get drunk, then I take some Xanax, and then it's like, oh, like heroin, like right away, right? And so that was just like the cycle forever. But, like when I was texting you that one time, it's because I was talking to my therapist. She's like, you need to go to a meeting, And I had done programs before. I did 6 months out in this place called Sober Ranch out in like Palomar Mountain. And they had like dragged us to meetings and stuff like that, like, which I didn't actually want to get. I never really wanted to get sober, right? I just wanted to like not be in trouble anymore. You know what I mean? And so like, I didn't pay attention to like anything like in those meetings at all. Like I went into this place like to do like 6 months and I did a rapid detox. I was on a bunch of methadone. I did a rapid detox before I went in there.
Before you went in there?
Yeah.
Like on your own?
Yeah.
Because you had to be off the methadone.
Yeah, I had to be off of it. So do you know what a rapid detox is?
No. Is that when they blind taper you just to zero?
No,
it's
where they put you under. Like they.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, it's not that. So I've done them twice.
No way.
Yeah. So like the first.
Where did you go?
So the first.
Is it like $10,000?
Yeah, they're expensive. So like they're expensive.
You're so annoying.
The first one I went, it was this place up in San Francisco, and
I get annoyed about Drew's ball.
and dude, so check it out. I drove up there. I was on my steady thing. Methadone was like 230 milligrams a day. Like that was like my usual like methadone dose. And then like I would get the fucking, what is it called, like a split dose, you know, because I knew how to
like take homes or whatever. Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, this metabolizes too fast. And like I would talk him into giving it to me. So then I always had like take homes like off the rip. Right.
Yeah.
And so like, but then, so then I could like just get by on like, you know, like take like half and then I build it up. And then like on some days I'd, you know, take like 400 or 500 or whatever, you know, and just like get lit. So anyways, I have to go. I got in trouble out here and I had to.
And we're going to get into all the details of this, by the way. But right now, I first want to hear about
Yeah,
this.
the rapid detox. Yeah. So I had to go into this program and I do a rapid detox before, right? And so
how much? It's like $10,000,
yeah,
right?
this one was and this was a shitty one. This one was like 12, I think. And this was like, so this was not the good one. There's two. If you ever want to do rapid detox, you need to do the Wiseman method. Like they're the ones that have like really like they're the main people.
What do they do, dude?
And so like, well, so there's two different ones. I'll tell you. So this place, I went in there and I had to get off opiates, right? So it can't, because methadone's so long acting, they had to get me off, you know, methadone. So this doctor prescribed me, I don't remember, a bunch of 80s, you know what I mean? So like I had like 30 or 40 80s and I was supposed to take them like over like the course of a week and like stop taking methadone and do this just so I would like still have something in my body, right? And so I had like an ounce of heroin. I quit doing methadone. I remember I drove up, I was doing this like ounce, me and my dad for like a week, like before.
Your
like,
dad was using with you?
Yeah, that's a lot of shit.
Okay.
So we're like
Okay.
doing fucking this. We like did all this dope for like this week in San Francisco. And then the day before I was supposed to go do my rapid detox, I just ate like all the 80s, like just the whole script. You know, I don't remember how many were. It was like something like 30 or 40 or something crazy. And I just ate them all. And then I went in there. And so what they're supposed to do is they put you under, like they sedate you like completely on like propofol or something like anesthesia, right? And while you're under, they pump you full of like naloxone and they get it out of your system. But I went to this place and they put me under, like just hit me with a bunch of ketamine, right? And so like I'm sitting, so like I'm out of it. And then dude, it was the trippiest thing. Like I literally saw, and then they pumped me full of like naltrexone. I saw my brain getting cleaned up. Like I saw what was like my brain, and it was all like metallic, and it was like covered with like moss and like this dirty shit, right? And then there was like this hose, like this matrix looking like, you know, fucking machine, like hosing it down. Then it was all like clean and sparkly, right? Like I watched this happen. It was a gnarly trip. And so then I woke up.
Did you feel sick while it was happening?
Not while it was happening, but so like I woke up and then I remember the nurse like, what did you see? What did you see? And I'm like, I don't know. And then I went back to this lady.
Because everybody says something, or because you clearly were?
No, because I think just everyone has the experience of like, you know, they'll have like trippy shit because they hit you with like a high dose of ketamine. This place was like a ghetto ass place that I went to that was cheaper because normally it's like 25 grand and I wasn't trying to spend that much money that time. And like, so you shouldn't cheap out on this kind of procedure. It's not, this is when it comes to cutting costs, it's probably not this, right? And so like, the Wiseman method, I did it another time and they said they put you in a nice place, they monitor you for 10 days, right? They just sent me to some lady's house and I was in her house and I remember she had movies and she put on The Departed. I love The Departed.
Me too.
This is why I love The Departed, because like, I don't know if you remember this, but the DVD, The Departed DVD, like some DVDs, when you play and it's over, it goes back to the main menu.
Yeah.
The Departed just runs back. So like you can sit there and get high and nod
out
off.
and it doesn't go back to that stupid menu screen with that one like bar of music over and over again.
Yeah, it just always is playing.
That is a B-side deep track junkie reason to love a DVD.
Yeah, exactly. Like that. So yeah, so I'm at this house for like.
So wait, the nice one is when you're at the lady's house?
No, this was the shitty one. The shitty one I was at her house and I was there for just like 24 hours.
This is after you woke up from the ketamine?
Yeah. And like, dude,
how did you feel at her house? Were you sick?
I was just out of it. Like I was just out of it.
Okay, like the ketamine lasted for a few days?
Like I was just like, my parents thought I was retarded, dude. Like, no, like for real. I didn't know this until like years later, but they thought like
you had done too much?
Like they thought that like I fucked my body up and this whole procedure like made me like legit retarded because I was just like fucking stupid and slow and like, you know, shitting myself and stuff like that, like pissing myself like after, like it's gnarly. So like the whole thing is they pitch it like, oh, you go through, you know what I mean? Like you get all the opiates out of your system while you're under, right? It's true. but your body is still used to having all these drugs, and so your receptors are still screaming. So you're still dope sick. You still
Yeah.
feel just like you're dope sick.
Oh.
But this time, I don't think ketamine is maybe the best way to do. I don't know. Like I said, I went to a janky ass place and I didn't spend like I spent it was a lot of money to me at the time. But like for this procedure, you should probably spend more because like aftercare is important, I think, you know.
What's the other one like? The Weissman. What does that do?
So Weissman's a little better. Like Weissman, like I went to like a little clinic in like a shopping mall basically, and like the one for like in San Francisco.
Okay.
The Weissman, they're like the ones that invented it. That's the one that like
I thought they put you in a coma for 5 days.
no, like
Oh.
it's 6 hours.
Oh.
But like they're the ones like a lot of rock stars and people
Okay,
like that
okay.
will go there.
So walk me through what happens when you get there.
So like that one's cool, right? So like I call them up, I book it, whatever. They send like an Uber Black to pick me up from my house, you know. So I'm just in the back, just like fucking smashing Roxy's, you know what I mean? Because this is my last time, you know, like getting high. So I'm just eating pills all the way there. And so then they bring you and they brought me to like Newport Beach or something like that. I don't remember. And I was in the OR there, and then they check you in, and then they hook you up with like a drip, you know. So you get like, you know, a morphine drip, and every half hour you can press the button. So like, you know, I'm checked in for the day. I'm going to have my procedure at 6. So, you know, I just sit there all day, like fucking pressing, you know, like waiting as soon as I can press the button to get more like opiates, you know. And then, and so then they bring you down in the morning and they hook you up. And this is like in a real hospital, with real doctors, a real anesthesiologist. They put you under all nice and stuff like that. It was great. And I just remember waking up and this doctor there, he's like, congratulations, you're opiate free. And I'm like, oh, and then I rolled off this thing and promptly just started puking and shitting like all at the same time, just whoop. And I was like, it felt horrible. And then they bring you to a house and you stay there, like a real nice house in like Laguna Hills or some shit like that. And you're there for like 14 days.
Do they give you comfort meds when you get there?
They give you comfort
Xanax or something?
Nothing like that, but they give you like normal comfort meds like trazodone, shit like that, normal PRNs. I felt like I was like tripping on like acid, kind of like I was having like these weird visuals, like my body was out of it. They have like a private chef that's really good, and there's like a phone in your room, and you can just call them at any time, and they'll just make you whatever you want. But like, so it sounds really nice, but you're not fucking eating anything anyways. You know what I mean? But like, you can have them make smoothies.
I thought they put you in a coma for like 5 days.
I mean, maybe you.
So you woke up actually not sick.
Yeah, no.
Other than the mental.
I mean, that's not what I did, and that's
no,
not.
I'm sure what you said is what they all do.
Yeah, that's not their method. That's not the Wiseman method. They just bring you there, and then they like, and then you chill, you know, and it's kind of like a detox. Like people would come and do like acupuncture and stuff. I remember I was so pissed because there was this chick that was there and she's like running around, right? And like she's like doing yoga and all active. I'm like, dude, like how long have you been here? You know, are you about to leave? She's like, you know, I just got here yesterday. And she was just like, because she had like tapered herself down to like a teeny bit of like Suboxone, right? Like point like whatever 2.5 or something, like either like 1 milligram or something really small, and she just couldn't kick it. And so she did that, just, you know, kicked it all right about her system's cool. I was eating a massive amount of like oxys and roxys and shit like that when I went, so it was a little gnarlier for me. I think.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was
well, you're the first person I've ever interviewed that did the rapid detox.
Yeah, it's stupid. Honestly, I think it's like, I mean, I guess, you know.
What's the benefit then?
I don't know. I think like for me, like I never would have done enough. Like for methadone and for like oxy, that kick really sucks, right? Because like those synthetic opioids that are like pharmaceutical, like they have legs, you know what I mean? And it feels like really bad. And so like I couldn't stop with those, you know, like I could kick like heroin or like fentanyl, I could do it because it's like out of your system pretty quick. But like that shit, I just couldn't do it, you know, and I got, you know, sold on the whole idea of like not having, you know, I've been doing this shit for 20 years. Like, I don't want to be sick anymore. You know, I can afford it. Let's do it, you know.
Holy
and fucking
shit.
Still, it was crazy, bro. Like, you have no idea.
Okay. Well, let's get to how you got there, because I know you've got this really long career of using. By the way, this is why I wanted to interview you. You're sitting on goldmine stories, dude.
Yeah, well, I've done a lot of
I
heroin.
can just tell. Okay, so where are you from? You're from Utah, right? Where are you from?
I'm from New England, actually. So, Connecticut is where I was born. And so, like, I lived, like, all over, like, New England, like, Vermont, New Hampshire, Connecticut.
Why did you guys move around?
My dad was in the restaurant business.
Oh,
and
okay.
so, like, it's kind of a shitty business to be in. So, he'd have restaurants, sell them, then he'd work at another one. And so, we moved around, like, for that. Moved around a lot for that. And then when I was, like, 13, my parents got a divorce. And because my dad had a restaurant in Vegas that he opened, like this sick ass restaurant. He had one in Arizona and then he had another one in Vegas. And, you know, he was out there running that, you know. My mom, like their marriage was just over anyways. It had been for a while. And my mom didn't want to move to Vegas because she just didn't want to live in fucking Vegas. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And she had gone to BYU, and so she wanted to go to Utah, you know?
Okay.
And so like she went to Utah. She's LDS. So like I was raised LDS or Mormon. So, you know, like she wanted to go there. And
You went to church every week with her and all
yeah.
that stuff? Like you were raised in the church?
Oh, I was gonna go on a mission.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, so like you were into it or they were gonna make you? Or you
No,
believed
like
the whole nine?
just like I was just,
I mean, of course you did. I
it's
did
just
too.
that's just what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I grew up in it, and I was
Yeah.
gonna go on a mission. You
Right,
know,
right.
so and then I, you know, 5 days after my 18th birthday, I caught a bunch of felony charges, and you can't go on a mission if you got felonies.
So when do you start? Two questions. One, when do you start using? Well, how do you do in school?
Oh,
And when do you start using?
I'm pretty smart. I do well in school. I was school's easy for me.
Okay.
You know, I moved around a lot. So like the moving around, like I had to figure out how to make friends. You know what I mean? Because we're always going, so I don't have a lot of friends, just like me and my brothers, right? It's just like us. I had 2 brothers, and just we're the ones, like, you know, we're always moving around. So
I have a stupid question.
Yeah.
Is Chad actually your brother? He's your blood brother?
He is, yeah.
He's your full blood brother?
Yeah, he's my full blood brother.
You guys don't look alike.
I mean, I think,
Or maybe you do if I knew you better.
yeah.
I probably don't know either one of you well enough to not see. Maybe you do if I know you
I
better.
mean, I feel like we look like he's a little lighter skin, so I take more after my dad.
Yeah.
My dad's Greek, like
Yeah, because
100%.
remember I asked you, wait, didn't I ask you if you were Southsider in jail?
Yeah, yeah, he did. And then I said something about it. I just like made some stupid shit, and then homeboys, remember, he's like, bro, you're
I knew who I
I was
Southsider.
like, fuck, dude. It was like, my bad. And so, like,
I asked her, I was like, oh, were you Southsider? And he was like, no, it's a fucking wood, dude.
that's not true.
I'm like,
but
you're really tan. I'm sorry.
yeah.
But yeah, Chad is definitely lighter than you.
Yeah. My mom, she's like,
And he has blue eyes.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's-
you know.
my mom's dad was like this like really dark
Why do you
Italian.
even talk to me? I ignored your fucking. Not that asking someone who's a Southsider is an insult. I actually mean it as a compliment. Holy shit. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you've got your brothers.
So
you
yeah,
guys
so
are
I got
going
my brothers.
everywhere.
So you know, like we move around a lot, get used to it, right? So basically, like I started just getting loaded because I moved to this new school, and I was pissed at my parents because I got a divorce, right? You know, and like I was trying to make friends, you know, like it's an easy way to fit in, you know what I mean? So like,
Is to use drugs.
yeah,
Right,
you know?
yeah.
So like I met some kids, and you know, it wasn't something that I'd ever tried to do before because you know I was like a good little like Mormon kid. All my friends like went to church and stuff like that, you know, like, and so it wasn't like, it just wasn't on the table really until I moved to Utah, and then it was, and then I didn't have any, you know, apprehensions regarding it because like I knew my parents would be pissed, and I was like, fuck them, I'll show you guys, you know what I mean? And so it's cool. And so the first thing I ever did was you remember like corset and cough and cold?
I never did it, but I know the triple C's. Yes.
So that was like,
yes.
I remember like eating those.
How old were you?
Like I would have been like
13,
like
14?
13, yeah, I
Okay.
think, yeah.
Are we the same age?
I just turned 40,
Okay.
So-
No, I'm a little older than you.
yeah, so I wasn't gonna say anything, but you definitely don't look over 40, so
Good call.
yeah.
Good call.
I was surprised really when you said that you're older than me, so
Really?
yeah.
Okay, because you took it pretty well, like you were, like it was expected.
No,
Really?
I was
All right.
surprised.
Okay. I'm kind of a lot older than you, actually. But look, I always do this. I say I'm weird about my age, and then I do what I just did. So I'm obviously not actually weird about it.
Yeah, obviously
But I
not.
always say that. But I'm the first person.
She's
to
older
say,
than 40, so just in case no one got the memo.
They know. The podcast listeners know all about it. They're like my friends.
Drawing attention to it
Yeah,
right
I
now.
do it all the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, okay.
Yeah, so
So 13.
I was like
the
13,
CCCs.
yeah,
Okay, triple
eating
Cs.
those. Like it was, man, that was crazy. I just remember eating them in the middle of school and then just like tripping out. Like that's one of the hardest trips I've ever had, like in my life, like gnarly disassociative and stuff like that. I didn't realize I was laying the groundwork for like, you know, future things that I would be into.
Right,
but,
totally.
But it was, you know,
So how does that start to escalate over time?
So like,
To where you end up with charges after you turn 18? Like, what does high school start to look like for you?
so like, I'm in like middle school, and it didn't really get like too, so that was like, I was in 8th grade, right? Because I moved there like the end of like 8th grade, and it didn't get much worse than that, you know. Like I'd eat some, like we ate a lot of the triple C's, you know, like started drinking for the first time, you know, like my buddy would like bring like fucking, what is it, dude?
Mad
like
Dog.
Crown. No, like
Oh.
he like had like bottle of Crown, smoking cloves and like shit like that, just like little things. I didn't really like, drinking very much. I didn't like the taste of it, and but it wasn't like a whole lot. Like I hung out with these kids and I do it once in a while. I like popping the pills, like that was it. And then my mom, so this is like some like the friction of my mom. So like my parents got divorced and we moved across the country to Utah in April. And by like July, she was married to this new dude with 5 kids. So like so that was like really, there's a lot of like resentments and,
Yeah.
anger and stuff
So
like
there were
that.
suddenly now 8 kids in the
Yeah,
house, in one house, because
yeah.
obviously you all moved in together.
Yeah. And so like we had like, so like,
Oh,
and I was
wow.
chilling like at my house because my mom, like my dad's paying her alimony and child support. We had our own place.
Oh, so you had a separate house.
So, no, at first, and then she got remarried, and now we're all staying. I go from having like my own room with like a bathroom, and now I'm like, sleeping on the floor, the living room. Because this dude doesn't even have a house. He's living in his grandparents' house while he's building his house, and now he's like making me trying to build his house. And I was like, bro, fuck you. And so, anyways, I didn't last long. I was in Utah for just like a little bit. I started my ninth grade year. I did not get along there. There was just I didn't fit in at first, you know what I mean? And I ended up going to Vegas
To live with your
yeah,
dad.
to live with my
Okay.
dad. And so that's when I got more into like more prescription stuff, like
Okay.
benzos, some pain pills,
How
smoking
would you
weed.
get benzos and pain pills
I
in
had
Vegas in
friends,
high school?
just
Okay.
like friends I did. And again, this was like casual. I wasn't like chasing it around. You know what I mean? Like it was like I liked it, but I just like to rollerblade and like my friends had stuff, like I would do it. You know what I mean? And it was like, it wasn't, I don't know, like it wasn't that bad. I still was, I don't know. Like it's hard to say. Like I don't know. I feel like I was still like a kid. You know what I mean? And I was enjoying it. So like we do like some stuff right here. Drink some 40s and shit like that. Like smoke some weed, but it wasn't anything like super crazy. I guess till later. I only stayed there for a year, and I went back to Utah. And Utah is an interesting place because like there, like you have a lot of people that are Mormon, and so they don't drink. You know what I mean? Like they don't drink. They don't really, like they don't smoke weed. I mean, obviously people smoke weed, but you know what I'm saying? Like it's not like as accepted, but like it was super accepted to just have a bunch of like pills that your doctor prescribes that you can take because you have anxiety or depression or pain or whatever. And so that's when I got into it with my friends, like going over to other friends' house, raiding people's like, parents' like pill cabinets, you know what I mean? Doing all that. And I got attracted to that. And then also I was always, an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? And so like, and then I got into like selling drugs, you know what I mean? And then like, I remember like being in high school and like, like writing lists of like, different like, prescription medications and then going to like, kids that were in like band or whatever, and like just be like, hey, like go find these. So you're, like see if you have these in your house. And then they'd
And
come
they would
back.
do it?
Yeah, they'd come back and give me a bottle of pills and I'd give you like $40 for like a bottle of Percocets or something like that,
Oh,
and then like
okay.
then I'm selling them for whatever, I'm eating them and that type of shit.
Were you snorting pills at that point or still just swallowing? Snorting.
Swallowing. So I would definitely snore pills. So by this time, like let's call it like, junior year, really. You know what I mean? Eating a lot of pills, snorting a lot of pills. We do like parachute pills. We crush
Yeah,
them
yeah,
all
yeah.
up
And
and
put
like
them in
put them
toilet
in.
paper or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, do
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So yeah, so that fuck, dude, it's so long ago.
Do you pick up a habit? Do you get strung out at that time? And do you know that's going to happen? Like, are you getting dope sick during these days or no, not really?
No, so like let's see, I feel like my junior year, I'm trying to think. Like honestly, it's kind of, I was doing it a lot recreationally, but
Not enough
I
to pick
wasn't
up a habit.
strung out yet. You
Yeah,
know what I
okay.
mean? Like, that's like, it started out a lot of time like just eating like my favorite thing was like, get I don't know, like, 8 perk 10s, right? Like pop those, get like, a 12 pack, you know what I mean? Drink that, like boom, like I'm chilling, like that was like my vibe,
Me too,
like
actually,
that.
in my 20s. Yeah, but I wasn't chasing Percocets, but it was my favorite thing if they came around. I was like, "Oh, yeah."
Like I liked, so like I guess I would say I chased them
Well, at
because
that point you
it
were,
was
but
like
yeah.
not like an everyday chase, but it was just like I know we're going to party on the weekends, right? So I want to, so I do the legwork to prepare to have the drugs that I want like on the weekend, because this is the way where I feel the best, you know what I mean? Like this, and there's always other shit, somas, you know what I mean? Like different benzos or whatever, those are cool, but like, I like pain pills and like beer, right? Like so if I could, make sure I could have those, it was great. What kind of changed my life was I remember, like, so people were doing oxys and stuff like that, but I never really, I don't know why. I'll eat a bunch of Percocets, but like Oxycontin, there's still kind of like a stigma
You
there.
felt like there was a line
Yeah,
that would be crossing the line.
yeah, and so
Okay.
I just never like really like did that, and like not a lot of my friends were like doing them yet. Like I knew some like older dudes, that like fucked around with it, but it wasn't really in our circle yet. And I remember one time, I tell this story a lot, but I was at my buddy's house, and so one of my friends had an 80, right? And they were in the bathroom trying to crush it up, but they didn't know that you're supposed to take the time release off, so they're like trying to crush it, and they lost it, right? So they like slipped out and they lose it, and so they were up there and they come back and tell us they lost it, whatever. I was like, you're a fucking idiot. You're supposed to take time release off, whatever. Because
So you knew that.
I knew that, yeah, because like I said, I had older friends
Okay.
that did it, but I had never like done that yet. Then later, I'm up in the bathroom, I'm taking a piss, and I'm fucking drunk, whatever. I was taking my SATs the next morning, so I'm partying, and I'm supposed to go home and take my SATs, and I'm looking at my buddy Casey on his toilet. He had like this little like knit like snowman that just sat on his toilet, and in the snowman's little like hat there's like an 80 sitting there, right? And it just like got caught there. And so I took it, you know what I mean? I rinsed it off, I took the time release off, crushed it up, and just ripped that whole fucking thing. And I went down, I told my buddy Cole, I was like, hey bro, I found your pill, you know what I mean? He's like, oh, where is it? I was like, oh, I fucking snorted it, dude. Like, it was already lost, it wasn't yours anymore, just thinking that's like, it just made sense to me, You're like, yeah, let me just like steal your fucking drugs, right?
Did he get mad?
I mean, I think he was pretty mad, but like it wasn't like.
But it wasn't like a thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it wasn't like an issue. He's probably, I don't really remember, you know what I mean? He's probably like, dude, you're a fucking dick, but it wasn't like beef.
I can't believe it was on the
It
snowman
was sitting
hat.
right in the hat, dude. Like it was just like, yeah, just like up there. And I just remember looking at it. I'm like, like double vision. Oh, fuck yeah, And so, yeah, so then I did that, and dude, and then I'm up all night, just like itching and scratching, you know what I mean? Like all night. My buddy's like, dude, what the fuck? Did you smoke crack or something? I'm like, no, man. Oh shit, like, dude, fucking did this 80 and just like all night, and God, I felt amazing. And then I went, so I'm up all night, and then I go.
Oh, but it was good.
Yeah,
you enjoyed it.
Great. And then I went, and I was high as fuck. Taking not my SATs, ACTs in Utah, and I take my ACTs and I fucking kill them.
You do?
Yeah, it was fucking great. I'm
what
like,
are they measured out of? 36?
yeah.
What did you get?
I think I got like a 29.
Is that good?
I mean, it's not.
It's
It's
not
pretty,
bad.
Yeah, it's not bad for me. It's not like anything like crazy, but like what? So I had like high 30s on like math, or no, it's like English, science, like that kind of stuff. But like I'm retarded when it comes to math, and so like I had like, I don't know, like 15 or something.
Mine was the same. I did
like,
really well in the
yeah.
SAT verbal, but I did terrible on the
And so that
math.
like tanked my score,
Yeah.
So like, but for me, I felt like, like I was high as fuck, so I felt good. And at this point, like I wasn't, like I was just getting loaded all the time. So yeah, so it was pretty cool.
Holy shit.
And so like,
so when you're having band kids go to their parents' house and find pills, does it ever move to other ways to get pills, or do you have enough kids bringing you enough parents' cabinets that you are making money just that way?
I mean, that was just like sometimes like a thing that like, I would do. It wasn't like a sustainable practice, A lot of times like we'd like meet girls and go over their house, that like went to other schools, and then we'd, rob their parents, fucking, you know what I mean? Like we'd go in there and rob their medicine cabinets, stuff like that, At this point, like once I started getting into like oxy, like then it was like,
yeah. So what happens after you do that first 80? Then what starts to happen?
I like oxy, And at this time it was still like, and I didn't go right back to like, just doing like 80s or anything like that. Like, at this point still I could like, me and a homie, like, we split a fucking 80, you know what I mean? Like we each throw down like $20, you know what I'm saying? And like, and we rail half, it's good. So like I could buy like a couple 80s for like the weekend instead of eating all those Percocets, and like still cool. But then, the weekends start getting a little longer, right? They start starting on Thursday, or and then there's like a basketball game on Monday, so let's do that. And then just like slowly, this is like, probably, like by the time like, my senior year or whatever, you know what I mean? Like through like, junior, summer, it's like senior year, like that's where it started happening. I was doing more and more. And still, I was never, like, it wasn't an everyday thing, but I was doing it a lot and I liked it, and like I was smoking a lot of weed then, like, so that was like something that kind of fucked me my senior year, just because like it made me like a lazy piece of shit. And like, like I quit fucking around in school and stuff like that, leaving during school, drinking, coming back, like just fucking hammered, all normal bullshit. Right. And so, but what really happened is like the oxy thing, other people started doing them, and so, I cultivated some plugs, what I'm saying, to do that. And,
Like what?
just people
Other
that,
contacts
yeah,
that you
just,
could buy more from
yeah, like
to sell to people.
exactly. Like I
Okay.
used to like, like I remember this one girl that like her brother, I would just buy like his whole script off him, you know what I mean? Or like someone else that like my other buddy, he was older than me. And so he was into like kind of the pain pill game, you know what I mean? Which was, I wasn't there yet, but like
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
was. And so like I'd be able to buy from him and then I would sell them more or whatever. And then what happened is like eventually like my senior year, like I got introduced to heroin. I was working at this place with my homeboy. He's like, you should just try smoking tar,
Where were you working?
It was this call center. It was called
Okay.
Cento.
Okay. Just a
Yeah.
part-time job.
Yeah. It's just I worked like after school. I worked for overstock.com. I was customer
Okay.
service for
Okay.
overstock.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he said, fuck that, just try to smoke
Yeah, he's like, you should
heroin.
try this. And so I went and tried that. I was like,
Did you have any hesitation or were you like, no, fuck it, I'll
I
try
mean,
it?
yeah, I did it. I mean, like by that point,
Right.
I just remember doing it,
Yeah,
going to
okay.
his house and doing it. And I remember that shit was like $10 for like a fucking balloon. And so then I was like, oh, wow. Like I'm selling, fucking 80s for like, I don't know, like $60 or something, right? Like I can, instead of like doing these 80s, I could just sell them all and then I can just buy heroin and no, everyone was like oxy at this point, like it was like acceptable. You know what I mean? Like no one is like tripping if you're like doing, like fucking oxys. There's no like judgment there.
Right,
So like, oh, I'll just smoke heroin and then like people just think I'm high on oxy and then I just make a lot of money and shit like that. And so yeah, I got into that like pretty hard.
Does that start to work to where you're saving money on your own habit and then you're making more from selling oxys? And how long does that work?
I mean, it worked for a while.
Are you stacking a decent amount of money at that time?
Yeah. I was, I mean, like not like a crazy amount, but like I'm working my job and then I'm using that to like buy the scripts, you know what I'm saying? Which I didn't have like a whole lot, you know what I mean? Like I'm still a kid. I was in high school, right? You know what I'm saying? Doing that, but it was enough for me to have like extra money to be able to save up, you know what I mean? And just do whatever I want. Like my family didn't have money, so I got myself a little car, like whatever, that type of thing. And so it was cool. It was nothing like crazy,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so yeah, and so I was able to do that and yeah, and then it just kind of like,
What are the charges that you get?
oh, so I did it and like I got like, again, a balloon of heroin's $10, right? So now when this shit's like $10, like, well, I like doing this every day now, you know what I mean? So, like let's do it. And I wasn't even doing it that long, man. Like honestly, I'd only been doing heroin, I feel like for a couple months or something when we went up. So like in Utah, the way like the dope game worked at the time was like I lived in, it's called Utah County, and then Salt Lake County is like city that was like north of us. Like that's like the main, it's like the capital or whatever. And it's basically, it's like kind of like the equivalent of like from like North County driving down to San Diego, right? You know what I mean? Like the same kind of thing, like more like, suburban and then like down there. And so we would go down there to score, but how it is like they would have, so you'd call a number, there'd be like a phone system and you'd call a number and someone would pick up, like, they like dispatcher would answer, right? Be like, hey, what's up, buddy? It's the Mexican. You're like, hey, it's me. Da, da, da. Like, oh, okay. And they tell you an address to be like, go to like 13 South, and like 27 East, right? They like, look for like the green Civic. And so you go and you park there and you park at like whatever, a gas station, whatever the fuck it is. And you just wait and you post up until you see like, some Civic driving by with some sketchy fucking Mexicans, And so like, and then you follow it, then you drive into like the neighborhood, and then like they pull over and then you jump, you get out and you jump in the car and you jump in with them, tell them like, hey, like, like 5 black, 5 white, and then they give you like 5 balloons of Coke or heroin.
How much is a balloon?
$10.
But how much is in it? A dime bag worth of stuff? Okay, so $10. Okay. Where do you get the number and who's running this?
So, I mean, who's running it? Fuck, I don't.
Where did you get the phone numbers?
Just get it from people, other people, like, so like.
So is this something a lot of people in Utah at least did at that time? That's how it all worked?
That was these, like, for a long time, like, they had, like, that completely locked down.
That's
like,
crazy. So, like, in Camden, when you walk around, or like on The Wire, when it's like, works, blah, 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 that's that system.
Yeah.
In here, it was that system?
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's
like,
crazy.
the whole system is, like, cell phones and cars. Like, it's very hard to go, like, if you went down to like the shelter, like in downtown, you know what I mean? Like Salt Lake, sometimes you might be able to find some, but a lot of times it's just like, crack and shit like that, right? Like Mexicans weren't down there like selling H,
Okay,
Like
okay.
this is how you would get H. And they had it locked down and they would always, and you couldn't buy weight, right? Like you had to
You were only buying 10 bags.
they not make it easy. So basically, you spend like $100, they give you one free, maybe, or give you two
Okay.
free, right? Like
So that
for
nobody ever takes the game away from them.
yeah, exactly. So they really like it takes a while to be able to like get into that, and you know what I mean? Like,
Holy
and so
shit.
like
But they must be flipping burners all the time. How do you get the new numbers?
just
They
they'll
text
call
everybody before
they'll
they.
call you and they'll tell you if there's a new one, and
Okay.
and there's like different people like competing, like there's different, there's like Marco or this guy or whatever. They have their different names, you know what I mean? And then, and the guys will constantly get arrested and deported and they'll come back, or you'll you'll be dealing with one runner a lot and he'll be like, hey man, I got this new number, and he's trying to like branch off on his own thing. So it's just like, I don't know, like us junkies, we all just like, like
We
it's
just follow where the
yeah,
dope is, but there's this whole extra game going on.
yeah,
This is crazy. They should make a movie about this because there's a movie about, East Coast stuff. There's tons of movies about like, like The Wire, where it's like WMDs or the works, blah, 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 blah. Like that's a real thing, like that market, that open air market. Out here, it's just tar. You go to like the person individually, but I've never seen anything about this system.
Yeah, no, that's how they do it. And like they would operate out of like tires, like Victor's tires. I don't whatever, I don't fucking
I'm sure Victor is
I don't know if Victor's around anymore. But
out
like,
of business.
but like Victor's tires, like they would like everyone like knew like they were kind of like running out of that and shit. And so
Was it a real tire store also?
Yeah, it was a real tire store for sure. There's a couple of them. And so like and they were like connected, and so it was just like this whole thing that you could do. And so anyways, I caught my charges because we went, and so that's what you do. So you'd go and you call them, you tell them you're coming, right? And you'd go fucking meet them. So we went, we scored dope, and we just parked, and my friend put, one of those fucking things in like the windshield, and so we would, back then what we would do is we'd, like smoke like the tar on the foil, and then like, Coke with like a little bit of baking soda, and just make like rub it on the foil and like smoke sheets. That's what we call it, right?
Okay.
And just like rip that. So
Coke and what?
like baking soda.
It makes like a really thin. I was just talking about this the other day. Yeah, it's like it's not see-through. It looks like dirty sheets of like little pieces of white, really thin stuff, right? Chunks. That's what meth looks like too if you smoke it off foil. It becomes little shardy chunks.
Yeah, so you would like it was like a paste. You'd mix it,
Yeah.
and like like
Okay.
there's
Meth
a little
does
bit
that
of
too.
water, and you'd like make it so you'd like have like a big sheet of like tin foil, right? And then it's like the paste is spread on there. You do more Coke, you get a thicker paste. Like hits it, and it's just like doesn't really do anything. Like I don't know, but like you want to keep smoking it. I'll tell you that much. Like we love doing that shit. And so we're sitting in the car doing that, and then one of my buddies like gets out to like take a piss, and there are cops just right there.
Oh shit. Okay.
And we got rolled up on
For possession.
Yeah, I got like a paraphernalia charge. I didn't get a possession charge because I fucking swallowed.
You'd already done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I swallowed what I had to.
Okay.
And I had an oxy. I remember I had an 80. It was my birthday. I was going there. My friend, we were having a birthday party at my buddy's house, and I had an 80 in my wallet. I remember they didn't find it. And like I got booked into jail, and they didn't find it when I got booked in jail, and that was pretty sick. So I had that when I got out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like no, the felony I got was my friend's little brother was with us, and he was 17, and so I got like contributing to delinquency of a minor.
Oh no.
So yeah, so I got a felony, and there's something else like I don't even
Okay.
like
Probably using in public or something like that. Who
something
knows?
fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
Okay. So you bail out of jail, you go, but you bail out.
So I went, yeah, and I was able to get out and like call my dad or something.
Okay,
and
okay.
that 80 was still there, and then that was my. So now I have this, and
Yeah.
that was like the first time like that I fucking kicked, really.
Oh,
like,
you did kick after
yeah,
this.
like so after this, like yeah, now I was like, I wasn't like used to like being like dope sick or anything
Yeah.
like that, right? Like before this, I had kind of felt sick. My buddy that initially like got me into it, like I remember one time he's like, "Hey man, do you want to go up the city?" And I was like, "No, dude, I don't really fucking feel good," And he's like, "Oh," he's like, "Dude, you're dope sick." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, it happens. And I'm like, oh shit. And he's like, I found the best way to just avoid it is just to do heroin every day. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, sign me up, motherfucker.
Genius.
That sounds like an excellent idea.
That sounds like the best solution for me at this time.
Yeah, let's do that. So
that's the same thing that happened to me. Somebody was like, Janine, you're dope sick. And I said, I'm not dope sick. And I said, okay, so what if I don't want to be strung out on heroin? What's next? And he said, you could kick. And then he told me it was 2 weeks and I had to go to work. And I was like, so what's the other option? He said, I'll give you the guy's number.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess we're going to do that.
Yeah. Well,
Fucking 5 years later.
Let's do
you know,
heroin. Exactly.
Yeah, that's the solution. But for me too, it's because I wanted to still work. There was that. I always kind of came back to that thing for me too for like a while until I wasn't, obviously.
Totally.
So did you have any plans on going to college?
I did. Yeah. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Do you want to go to BYU?
No, I wasn't gonna go to BYU. There was a school that I was looking at in like Salt Lake, like Westminster. Like, I was talking to them about some stuff. Like my junior year, like I was like, really good. Like,
Doing well.
yeah, like
Okay.
smart, like, you know what I mean? Like National Honor Society type stuff, and then like by the time like my senior year like
It's
rolled
falling apart.
around, yeah, like, I was smoking weed a lot, doing a lot of drugs, not like going to school, and it's just like I just didn't even really need to attend. You know what I mean? Like I could still go and like I could take like what are like the little, like where you take the test for I'm taking AP classes, you know what I
classes.
mean? And
Mhm.
I'm passing the test and stuff
Yeah.
like that, right? And like, it's easy for me, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? But like I'm not doing the stuff that you're supposed to, So it's like, and this was like, in April, so things were already like, like not good. I'm pretty sure like if I had cared, I could have pulled it around. Like for me, I always thought like I was just dabbling, you know what I mean? Like that's what I thought. Like I was like going on a mission was something that like I was seriously considering, you know what I mean? Or college or whatever. And so it's just like I'm just doing this right now, but in my head,
My real life is this
like,
legitimate
yeah,
stuff.
I planned on like, pulling it together,
Totally.
because I'm better than everyone else. I'm smarter, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm better than you and whatever, which is funny. Like I thought this, but like I'm the only one that I knew that got felonies my senior year. You know what I'm saying? Like I was the only one that was fucking strung out on heroin, like, but that was like the bullshit that like I would tell myself.
Me too.
And so like,
So do you graduate high school?
I graduate, but I can't walk because I missed so much stuff. So like I had to graduate from like a fucking like a what is it, like a continuance school or whatever it is. It's called ALLC. They called it a loser's last chance. That's what it stood for. It's like Alpine Life and Learning Center, but that's what we called it. And so I had to go there because like I could have graduated, but like they had a thing called like honorship credits. And you had to have a certain amount of those. But because I like was late, like just from tardies and shit like that, and missed class, I didn't have those credits. So I had to go there to like make up. Yeah, I had to make up this other stuff. So I did. I was able to walk like in that little like, thing. So like that was cool. I didn't really give a fuck at that point, And by that time, like that was just kind of like.
So what do you do then for that summer? Do you move out of your house?
No.
Okay.
I was staying with my mom. I was working. I always worked. I was really good. Like I lost that Cento job because it was like I was like kicking ass at this job, right? Like I was like killer customer service. So they introduced a thing where you could start answering emails for customer service, right? And so like, they would grade you on how many calls you take and how many emails, right? But I figured out that if you just send like a lot of emails, your scores are super high. And so I had like this manager. So it was like a big call center and there were like different accounts there, right? And so like my manager, like for my team was super cool. And he let me sit over by my friends, the ones that like got me doing heroin, And so, but they worked on a different account. So I was over there. Well, so like then my manager he left, right? And it was basically like they forgot I existed. I was like that one dude from fucking Office Space, you know what I mean? That just like is just there. And so like I was just over there, like in the corner, just grinding out emails. Like I had like this whole system, copy, paste, response, killer. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like my scores were like really great, too great because like then like one time I answered like some spam mail or something like that, and then they went through everything like you haven't taken calls for like 6 months. I'm like, well, no one told me I was supposed to, and all this shit. So like I got fired from that job, and then there's a lot of sales jobs in Utah that people do, like because like I feel like that's like Utah's main exports, like selling shit,
Okay.
Because like if you can like sell God to people, right?
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I'm not talking shit on like the LDS religion. I still go to the LDS church sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, once in a while, not like on a regular basis, but like I do like occasionally go, So yeah, I'll make that clear. Like that's not anything like that. But like if you can take a 19-year-old kid and you can go like sell God to people,
put
you
him
can
on a
sell
mission. You teach him sales.
Yeah, and
yeah,
so
that's a good point. I never thought about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, a lot of guys will come back and they'll do like door to door. They'll sell like like a security system.
And you got over the fear of doing it too.
Yeah,
you had to walk up to people.
Exactly.
Oh, that's wild.
But there's also a lot of like like back then, it would, like they would call it, like you'd sell like coaching packages to people, like
Right.
gnarly, scams. So like I
Yeah,
worked
yeah.
on some of those floors. I was never that great at it. I had friends that were really good at it. Like I'd make a decent amount of money, but I was never that good. I remember one time I worked at this one place and I was talking to this guy and he was like really, he was super stoked to like buy this package. He's like, yeah, man, like I'm a long distance trucker and like I want to get this started because I want to build this business so that like I can like be around my family and shit like that and like all this stuff. And I was like, bro, I was like, don't do this. I was like, don't buy this. Like, it's not gonna give you what you want. Like, this is a scam.
Oh,
Like,
I'm
you
glad
shouldn't
you
do it.
said
Yeah.
that.
I was like, I would literally rather sell drugs to people. And
Yeah.
so then, so I stopped
Did
doing
he
it.
say, okay, thank
Yeah,
you?
yeah,
He did.
yeah. And so
Oh.
like that was, I felt actually pretty good about that. And I was like, I'm done with this job. And it was all crazy. Like, people were like overdosing on like GHB in the bathroom and shit like that, dude. It was like a gnarly job. But and so then I went and worked at this place for a while. It was called the American Fork Developmental Center.
Fork?
American Fork. That was the name of the city I lived in, American Fork.
Oh, okay.
And so it was called the American
Like a
Fork.
utensil fork.
Yeah, American Fork, or like a fork in the road.
Uh,
Like it was called American Fork. I don't know. That was the name. AFI, caveman. That's where I lived. And so the American Fork Developmental Center was a place for like disabled adults basically to live,
okay.
where they like couldn't, you know what I mean? Couldn't take care of themselves. So there's variety of different reasons, right? Like some people were there because like they like have been in like car accidents. Like the first place where I lived, I worked graveyard shift in the paraplegic like section, right? And so these dudes that like they're complete paraplegics, they can't do anything. My job is to check them every half hour to make sure like they're still alive, they're not dying, you know what I mean? To change their diapers.
Oh my
Like,
gosh.
you know what I mean? So I had to like, pick them up out of like their beds and put them in a wheelchair. Then I had to go and I had to put them in a pulley and I had to wheel them up and I had to bathe them like in like this whole thing. And then I had to change their diaper, like all this
Wow.
stuff. Yeah, it was crazy.
You're a
Like,
really compassionate
this
person, though. I
was,
can kind of see you,
this was super humbling for me. And I feel
Yeah.
like it was, I'm pretty empathetic, you know what
Yeah,
I
you
mean?
are.
Like, and this thing for me was just like having that experience was like, it's like not something I want to do for the rest of my life. But, like, but I've had times like where I remember like one time, like there was this one dude, I was like feeding him and like he was trying to eat it and like dribbled down his face, and I could just see like he just like, he's all there, right? But he
Yeah.
can't do anything. But I can see in his eyes, like just like the shame and like anger and
Oh,
stuff. It was
God.
nuts.
Yeah.
And so like, so there'd be people like that, but then it'd also be like guys that like, were like criminals, like they were convicted felons, but like their IQs were too low, like they can't go to prison and they're like going to be straight victims. And so like instead they're there. So like gnarly sex criminals and stuff like that would be there for doing like crazy shit. Yeah, it was
Whoa.
a wild.
How long did you work there?
I was there for like a year and a half.
Okay, and are you clean this whole
No,
time?
oh no,
Okay.
definitely not clean.
So how did the drugs you kick after that initial arrest, but then what does it look like when it comes back into your life?
So like I had to do like outpatient shit, right, for like court. I had to go to this place. I remember like going to these little like groups and fucking crying. I'm like, I just want a Xanax. I don't know why I can't take it.
Would you
Whatever.
say that?
Yeah, that's what I said one time. Yeah, I remember like just like in tears, like crying about Xanax.
Were you being serious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah. No,
dead
I got
serious.
I totally understand.
I just wanted a fucking Xanax, and it made no sense why I couldn't take it. You know what I mean? And yeah, it was tough. And so I did that for a few months, and then I figured out how to. And so like one thing that I got out of this that was useful is they showed us like brain scans. Like, this is your brain on like ecstasy, right? Like you do this for like a few years, you know what I mean? Fucks your brain up. Meth fucks your brain up, right? They showed you like a brain scan of like heroin, like, and it doesn't even start getting bad for like 10 years, and I'm 18. I'm like, I'm not gonna be doing heroin in 10 years, Surprise, motherfucker. I absolutely was, but yeah, dude. So like, so anyways, like I was clean for like a few months, and then I figured out how to take my drug test or fake my drug test. I
How?
started doing it, just like getting clean piss. Like
Okay.
I would like piss clean, and I would like put it in like the fridge, and then
Yeah.
I put it in like a bag, and I would
Okay.
just like bring
Did they
it in.
watch you closely or
No,
no?
no, it was
Okay.
just this was like they would just hand you a thing and you just go in
Go
the
in the
bathroom.
bathroom.
So
Yeah.
just
Okay.
so I just like do
Okay.
that. Started getting high with some dude, fucking that I went to the program with. This fucking guy overdosed on me one time. I had to save his life, and then he got pissed at me because he got it charged,
Oh
dude.
shit.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, yeah.
Okay. So this is all early Utah days.
It's like 19.
Yeah, college is off the table at
There's
this point.
no college, yeah.
When do we get to, and I know you want to be careful about this, and that's fine. When do we get to somebody says, hey, you're good at this. Have you taken this shit online?
So like, okay, so just, years, whatever.
And what did the years look like in between too?
In between, it's just me running around,
This kind of shit.
being a junkie
Okay.
in fucking Utah, right?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Living
Like,
at home the whole time?
no. So like what would happen is I would live at home and I'd get some money together. I'd get my own place, I'd be running around. I would usually, what the cycle would look like is me, doing a lot of heroin, right? And then I'm like, okay, like fucking, this is getting out of control and I'm spending a lot of money. So then I go get on methadone. So I like to be on methadone because when I'm on methadone, that shit's $70 a week. And then I can sell dope and I have a lot more money for me, right? So I'm selling dope, saving it up, so then I can get a place to live, have an apartment, like just with my friends, you know what I mean? Like have some roommates or something like that. Do that until I get arrested,
for selling.
Not really, not the first few times. It's more like, first there's like DUIs, you know what I'm saying? Like shit like that, right? So I got this thing for like years. I got like it's called, like out there, they call it a plea of abeyance, where if you like just basically sign a thing and you say you're not going to get in trouble anymore, don't get in trouble for like a couple of years, they'll like drop the charges. So like I got one of those eventually for like my first charges, when I was 18. And that was in Salt Lake County. And then I got another one in Utah County. And then I moved to St. George. And then I got arrested there on like a fucking open container. And so then that triggered everything else. So then I did a bunch of time there. And then I got out and and it just progressed. I eventually started shooting speedballs. I had this roommate that put me on the speedballs. And that was a big game changer for me.
So at some point you moved to needles. That was my other question.
19, when I was working at that place.
Okay.
That's when I first started, one of my friends had started shooting up and I decided to give that a try. And so that's when I started.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, that's when I started.
Speedballs were a game changer for me too.
That was when I was super reckless. Like when I was we used to just shoot like coke and heroin like separately. I wasn't good at like making speedballs for some reason. Like I didn't make a hit. So I would just do like a fat shot of coke, then a fat shot of heroin, whatever. And then I had this roommate when I lived in St. George one time, and he did speedballs. He loved crack, right? Like fucking, he loved crack. We would be in St. George, and it's like, a couple hours from Vegas, and he would just we would just drive to Vegas, you know what I mean? And he'd just go to the hood and just see someone walk and be like, hey bro, where's the crack at? One time we just we found this random dude on the street, and then we're in this fucking apartment with him, his mom, his sister, his grandma, and we're just all this smoking crack.
The family was smoking
whole
crack?
Family, we're all smoking crack, dude. And he's just let's get more. And they're like, fuck yeah, and so Tommy would go and get crack. We were just sitting there,
gosh,
bell ringing, you know what I mean? And he was just he just liked to do this, you know what I mean? He just liked to just MLK, go in there and yo bro, and fucking. And so anyways, he's like, dude, you should try shooting a speedball. I'm like, dude, they're not cool. I don't really like them. He's like, you just don't do them right. And then he made one for me and showed me how to do it right. And then
how do you do it right?
I guess you just have the ratio.
The right mix or something?
I wasn't doing enough coke, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. So then I was like, oh yeah, this shit's sick.
That sounds about right.
And so that was when I got real. I didn't do it for a super long time, but that was a period of my life where I was really, really gnarly. Cause you wake up, right? You wake up, if you start your day with a speedball, it's fucking on, all day. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're getting fucked up and you're on some shit.
And you're selling heroin during this time?
Selling heroin.
Where are you buying in bulk?
So by this point, you know what I mean? When I was in St. George, for example, I would go down to visit where I was from, which was 4 hours away, and I would get a bunch of dope down there, and
because people knew you or whatever.
So I had cultivated relationships with these Mexicans by this point, you know what I mean? And so I could, spend a decent amount of money and, get more, right? And so I would do that, but then I could go back to St. George and I could sell that shit for I could spend a balloon is $10 and I could sell that shit for 30 or 40 in St. George. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So shit like that I would do. Even just when I was and then I got arrested and I'm back home in Utah, and then I get out and I'm shooting speedballs again. We're running around, doing all this shit, fucking, because then, you get to the point where you you call the guys and they pull over and you get in your car and you just realize you don't have to give them money if you just point a gun at
Oh
them. Then you just take
shit.
all their dope, And so then it's
But
like,
you can't do that for that long before
well,
they
so it's
get
like,
onto it,
hey,
right? How does that
what
end?
I do is be like, hey, bro, like I just like some fucking dude that I know, like, you got a plug, man? Like, let me get a number from you or call your
Oh,
guy.
so it
And
wasn't your own
so
people.
someone else would call them and then you'd go rob their person.
Okay,
I mean, I
okay.
robbed my guy multiple times, but I think I was just spending so much money with him that he just kind of like built it into
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, because I was just buying a lot of dope.
Did you have any scary moments where like it got violent for you or for them
Yeah,
or
so like I remember one time, this was probably like one of like the scariest things, is I was with my friend and we were in Sandy, Utah, right? Like, and we would like, like take turns robbing them. You know what I mean? So like if I do it, then like you have to do it the next time, right?
and you would use a gun?
Yeah, and so like I had two guns. I had this like my brother's friend had like stolen some like fucking like was out car hopping, right? And he found like some nine with like this extended clip. So I had that, and then I had like this like sick little like 380 that I liked. It was like tiny and it was like really cool. It was nice. And I like to use that one, right? You know what I mean? Because like it was small and I figured like I might have to shoot someone, right? I mean, if you have a gun, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might have to shoot someone with it, you know what I mean? And so, like, I figured maybe it wouldn't be as loud or whatever, Like, going in a car, like, I think about this. My buddy, he's a fucking idiot, and he just, like, he liked having the big gun, you know what I mean? With, like, the mag and trying to be scary, right? And, like, it wasn't even loaded. And so one time he goes, we meet this dude, and we pull
Were they
over.
always loaded or never loaded?
I didn't give him a loaded gun.
Okay. Yours would be loaded.
Mine was loaded.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't trust him
Yeah.
because he was a fucking moron.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so like, I'm talking about.
You think he'll listen to this?
No, fuck
Yeah, he
no.
won't listen to this.
But I just wanted to say that. But yeah, and so anyways, one time he goes and he jumps in this guy's car, and like pulls it out and like, cocks it, like acting like, like just all fucking Billy Badass and shit. And like the guy doesn't want to give him the dope. He's like, no. And so he tries like grabbing the gun from him, right? You know what I mean? And they're like wrestling with it. And he like gets out and my buddy grabs the dope from this guy and gets out and the guy's like grabbing his shirt, And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're in another car watching
I'm
this?
in my car behind it, right? And he's in front of us parked and he's in the car. Like they're like, and so I'm like seeing this shit going on and like moving, like what is happening, And so I get out and I start like walking over to like the driver's side, right? And then my friend bails out of the passenger seat and this fucking Mexican jumps out too. And he reaches down to like the side of his thing. And I'm like, oh shit. And so I run and I'm behind like the door of my car. And then he just has like, it's a fucking taser, He's like, like, and I start laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, bitch. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, bye, motherfucker. And I'm like, Kevin, let's go. And so he comes and he jumps in his car. And I was like, just take the dope. Like, let's get the fuck out of here. And so I'm in my car. I'm in this little, like, fucking shitty Saturn something, right? And so like I'm trying to start it, and it sucks, and I go, and then like this fucking so like, oh, this is the thing. Whenever you rob a Mexican, you got to take their keys, right? You take the keys to their car, and then you tell them, listen, I'm gonna fucking throw them off around the corner. You know what I mean? Obviously, right? Well, dipshit doesn't take the fucking keys, so like, I look up, and this guy starts his car and like throws it in fucking reverse, right?
To smash into
yeah,
you?
just like right at me, And so fucking so he's coming at me and I get the car to start, right? Like, and just like boom, like going, like moves like right before this guy hits me, And so then like I'm like leaning out the window on like the street in like Sandy, Utah. Like if like fucking Hannah knows, bro. Like, like Sandy, Utah, like this is not the type of shit that's happening. I'm like shooting at this fucking guy while I'm like driving like this, like fucking swordfish style.
Oh
and
my god.
yeah, and it was crazy. And I'm telling fucking Kim, like, shoot this motherfucker, shoot this motherfucker. He's like, I don't have any bullets. I'm like, God, dude. And so, anyways, like this part was fucking sick. And so like I'm like driving backwards, like in reverse, and like there's like this whatchamacallit, like this driveway like comes up, right? And so I like, woo, and I like swerve and like pull into like this driveway, and this lady was like pulling out of her driveway, and we like have like this like lock eyes, and I'm like standing there like, oh my god, I'm like this, and I'm like, fuck, dude, and then just go off, and the Mexican had driven away, and then I hauled ass, and I had to go, like, I'm just bailing through traffic, and then I went to work. I was working at Dish Network. I was doing customer service for Dish.
Oh
and so,
my
and
gosh.
that was where I gave my buddy the guns, and like hold these, dude. And then
Did anybody ever come after you?
nah. But like, well, so like then, the guy called me and I was like, bro, and like that dude that we robbed, he was like a new employee, I guess. So I was like, he's lying. I was like, he stole from you, man. You know what I mean? Like, me, I would never fucking rob you, like type of shit. And then fucking, it was fine for a while. And then one time I remember I was up in the city trying to, meet, because I called that guy for a long time. And I was there, and that dude, that same runner, like pulled up, and then he recognized me, and he like chased me around, and like the guy's
In the
calling,
car?
yeah, he was chasing me in the car, and so I had to like fucking get away. And then like I got a call from the dude, and I was like, he's like, he said you robbed me. I was like, bro, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't even meet him. This guy's weird, like whatever. It was never anything serious. Like I know people that like got into like situations where they like actually like there's like violent retaliation like because of it,
Yeah.
but luckily for me like that
Holy
didn't ever happen. Yeah,
shit.
so that was close. It really wasn't that bad, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, that's all pretty crazy, but yeah, I'm glad you didn't get shot or
yeah, like
whatever.
I mean, like in the scheme of things and that type of life,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it wasn't.
yeah.
So anyway, so like that was basically like what I was doing in Utah, right? Like just doing it, like trying to stay out of trouble, trying to be like, and so again, it would cycle, I'd get on methadone, and basically what I just did was just like I would just get a bunch of dope from like Salt Lake, and then I would sell it around Utah County. So like instead of people, you pay $10 for a balloon up there, right? You know what I mean? Like, but you got to go, you got to deal with the Mexicans, you got to deal with all the bullshit, right? Or you just come to me, I've got it right here and it's $20,
Right. Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
like I'm not the guy maybe that you're gonna call and you're gonna buy all your dope from. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like at first, you know what I'm saying? But you might get like a couple balloons, like to get you through the day type of thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Okay.
that's like how it started out. Eventually I, was able to, build some relationships with some people where I could actually like get connected and get like actual weight, you know what I mean? And so
Okay.
then I was selling it down there, like, in Utah County,
Okay.
and then I was doing like pretty well. Like I just sold dope, you know what I mean? Like if I didn't have a job, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like,
But you had a place and a
yeah,
car
yeah,
just from
exactly.
selling dope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the car, I had a fucking, I had a Vespa scooter that was unregistered. I would just mob around in my Vespa and fucking, do that. Listen, it wasn't that good for like a long time. It wasn't at like my last like thing before, when I was in Utah. That's when it started really doing good because
Financially.
yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it's for selling
For
drugs,
selling
right?
drugs.
Yeah,
Right.
like fucking, I
Right.
started to get it. Well, because I always had this thing. I listened to a lot of Jay-Z, put me up on a lot of game, and so like there's a song where he talks about like, like fucking chains is cool, cop, but more important is lawyer fees, right? Like that's one. Or there's another one. This is all good just a week ago where he says like, 18 and I'm sitting on around a mill. I can blow trial and come back around on appeal. And so like after I got arrested a few times, I realized like if I'm gonna be doing this, I'm gonna get caught again. It's just how it is. I need to make sure I have enough money for fucking a lawyer. I need to be able to make bail. I need to make sure I can have a lawyer on retainer, right? So like when I'd start selling drugs, I'd make sure I'd save that up so I wouldn't do anything until I have like, 15, 20 grand, which again is a lot, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of like cash for me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like here. And so then I could start spending money and doing whatever because I know, because I'm always gonna get arrested. That's just like that's what
Yeah.
it is. Like I'm in the game, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get caught. And so I was doing that in Utah, and then I fucking like I got raided fucking one time, like task force like came and fucking I was selling a lot of dope and fucking
Were you asleep? What time of day did they
it
come?
was at like night. I was watching Conan the Barbarian, the new Conan movie at the time. I had my new TV and all my family was there. My brother, both my brothers, my dad, all came over, the doing heroin there. You know what I'm saying?
So your dad,
Yeah.
is he using this whole time and you always know, or do you figure that out at some point?
He was using, like, he wasn't always using heroin, you know what I mean? But he got into like pills, I think, like pretty early. And then, I mean, I don't know how long he was using heroin. There's time when I was using, there was times where I lived with him and I would do heroin. He'd get really mad at me. Like heroin addiction is like in my blood. Like his older brother was like a Vietnam fucking junkie, died from AIDS type of,
Okay,
you know what I
okay.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
shit,
yeah.
like all, like I have a lot of cousins from back east that they all got like strung out like on opiates and shit. Like it's just like that's like our thing. Like I literally used to think like I was like genetically like immune to like heroin. I was like, I cannot overdose on this shit because like, it's just like in me, you know? And
Yeah.
so like, and we were just all on it. So
What was the first time you discovered that though? Was your dad at your was he like, here, give me some? I mean, how does that even happen?
it was just like I don't honestly I couldn't even remember like the first time. It was like a progressive thing with like pills and stuff like that. There were times when like I woke up and like my dope was gone. He's like, "Oh, I found this." And like he said like he threw it away. Did he steal it now looking back? I don't know, right? But yeah, like so it started with like pills and shit, you know, like with that whole thing. And then like I can't even really remember, you know,
So
when
this night of the raid, you're watching Conan the Barbarian. Your dad's there, Chad's there, who I know, and your other brother, who I don't know. And you guys are all getting loaded watching TV.
yeah, well, they're getting loaded in this room. Shit's happening. You know what I mean? There, I'm watching this movie, and then, yeah, and then fucking, I just hear boom, boom, boom. You know, knock on the door. I'm like, what the fuck is that? You know? And I hear boom, doo, 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 doo. And so like,
They just bust the door down?
yeah, I hear the door crash, and I hear like boots stomping upstairs because I just rented. So like, I was renting like a downstairs apartment, like someone's basement had been like converted to like apartment, so I lived there. So like, this isn't my house, right? So there's the other guy, and I live. So his fucking front door gets smashed. You know what I mean? So I run into my room and I grab the safe that has all my dope and I throw it into like this other room where like one of my friends was like staying at the time, and I'm like, I'm just throwing this in here. It's not in my room, right, dude? And they're so stupid, dude. The cops are so fucking dumb, right? Like I was going to re-up tomorrow and get like a bunch of shit, so I didn't even really have like that much, you know what I mean? And so like if they would have just waited, you know what I'm saying? Like it would have
Yeah.
been so much. They would have got
They
me.
don't know that,
Yeah,
but I
they're
guess they could figure that out if
yeah.
they
Well,
watch
I
your
mean,
patterns.
yeah.
And
Well, this
but
dude
you don't really
snitched
have
on
a
me.
pat.
Yeah,
Oh,
like, for sure, 100%. Like my
oh.
friend like made buys on me, like totally. That's what happened. Yeah, like so.
Okay, so do you all go to jail or just you?
I just went to jail. I'm the only one to jail. My dude, I
They
mean,
were looking for you.
they're there for me, but these guys are lucky that like no one
Yeah,
else got
usually
like.
everybody goes. My connect got busted, and they also brought his roommate, who was my good friend. But Brian would have had dope in his room
I mean,
too.
like these
But they
guys,
did
they
too.
had dope on them. I'm
On
pretty sure,
him.
like Chad, I'm pretty sure, like you know, went and flushed down the toilet.
Yeah.
You know, my dad, I remember like was able to like he was like passed out like in my bedroom, and he like was able to do it. I don't remember what happened to my other brother, but like they didn't know. None of those guys got jammed up.
What do
Off
you
this.
get charged with?
I got charged with like let's see, distribution. I got a couple distribution charges because I got heroin, and I got like this kid had fucking was coming to buy dope for me, and he didn't have any money, but he worked. Do you remember what spice was?
Yeah.
Like his girlfriend like worked at the place that made spice, so he just came over with, like pounds of
To
spice.
trade
And I didn't
you.
even like that, but I had it, so I had like a bunch of spice. So I
Yeah.
got like spice distribution. I got paraphernalia, and I got a gun charge.
Oh
And
no.
so
That 380?
yeah, no, it was a different one at this time, but it was like it was stupid because like I wasn't actually a felon at the time because like I had got the shit like dropped down, but like they're like you're a restricted we caught you with drugs, so now you're a restricted person, so now it's
Oh.
like possession of a gun, firearm
Was
by a
the gun in
restricted
your
person.
name?
No, but they
Oh,
don't
okay.
do that shit out there.
Oh.
Like fucking, you can just like
You just have a gun.
you can just buy guns. You know what I mean? There's not like a registry and shit in Utah. You can buy them like you're supposed to have technically like a bill of sale, but like not even like I didn't know this. The first time I got a gun from someone, I literally called the police department like, hey, I'm trying to like register. Like, oh, we don't do gun registry out here. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, okay, sick. You know?
It's the Wild Wild West,
Yeah,
for real.
I mean, for real.
Still.
That's how it should
Wow.
be.
Okay. Listen, let's just.
Well, you don't believe in the Fifth Amendment?
It's the Second Amendment.
Second Amendment? You're right.
So, yeah.
I'm dyslexic.
Clearly, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, I do.
What's the
actually.
Fifth Amendment?
The Fifth Amendment
Right not
is
to
when you don't want to
incriminate yourself. Yeah. Okay.
Plead
Yeah,
the
see,
Fifth.
I don't fucking know.
Well, it was right there for you, though. Obviously, these are the two that you're probably the most familiar with, so that's fair.
I can't own a gun right now, so
You can't?
No.
You're a felon forever.
No, I mean, I don't know. I was actually I need to get it expunged, I
Okay.
think, but I just haven't
Okay.
got around
So,
to
do you
it.
end up going to prison and jail
No.
for periods of time?
So I went to jail for this, you know, and I bailed out, you know. I had a good lawyer, you know what I mean? I started fighting it, you know, because
How old are you?
what time this was like 2010, right? So I'm 40 now, so how old would I have been? 24 or something, maybe.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, whatever. So, you know, I'm trying to fight. I had like, you know, one of the best lawyers in Utah County. It was cool. It was all good. He's like, yeah, man, you know, maybe we can, you know, like, I don't want to do drug court because everyone always told me, like, don't do drug court because you just like catch more charges, right?
Yeah.
Because like not gonna stop doing drugs.
Sanctions
You
and
know
all
what I
that.
mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
obviously, like if you do drug court, you can't get high. And like
Yeah.
I'm do that. And so like I was just like whatever. I kept doing my thing. And like at first it was like, basically I was gonna get like some fucking what am I, GPS, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah, yeah, like a monitor or whatever.
yeah, like I
Yeah.
was gonna be able to do that type of time. And I was like, okay, cool. But as, fucking started getting closer to my court date, like my lawyer started, getting a little iffy on if, like that was actually gonna happen. He's like, oh, well, maybe you might have to do some time, like potentially if they wanted to, like I definitely would have gone to prison, like for all this, like based on like, my fucking matrix and shit like that, right? And so like I was like, I don't know. I didn't really want to deal with it. So that's when I came out here. I was like, you know what? Fuck
You
this.
ran
Yeah.
on the
Yep.
charge?
Yeah. So I just,
Are you still on the run from that charge?
no.
Okay.
Yeah. That was a long
Okay.
time ago. So I bailed. I was like, fuck this. I'm getting the fuck out of Utah.
Where did you come to here?
I came to Carlsbad. My cousin,
Okay.
I had a cousin lived in Carlsbad. He had business. I was like, hey, man, I need to switch things up, And so
Okay.
I was like, I'm going to come out to California and I'm just going to, do something different. I need to get a, geographic, right? Let me move, get out of fucking Utah, and I'm sure it'll be better.
So you go on the run.
Yeah, so I had an ounce of heroin, and my brother was gonna move out there later, and my dad came with me, right? And he's like, I'll go with you. And so we came out here, and I had an ounce. I'm like, we're gonna go out here, and I'm gonna have like, we're gonna drive to California, I'm gonna have a nice week where like I'm high, right? And like see California it is, and then I'm gonna get clean and be good, right? And so then we went to Vegas, we stayed at his house, we stayed at his friend's house for like another day, and then it was gone. So then by the time we drove back, I was running out of heroin. And so I had to get on like fucking the internet. And like I found someone on like the internet, like on like not like Craig, dude, I can't remember the name of the site. There's like some site, but I was like, where can I buy this?
This is as you're driving to California?
Yeah,
Okay.
and so like I found someone that was like on Craigslist or
Yeah.
something like that, and they were selling methadone pills, right?
Okay.
And so like then I called them and was like, listen, dude, I don't want fucking methadone, like so like what's up? And so then they hooked me up with fucking I met them and I got some heroin.
Okay.
So then I started scoring from them. And then and then I like found some other people
out here.
Yeah, there's this website where you can just like, hey, who has this? And so like, and dude, it was so crazy to me because like I remember calling this guy and like it's people that I'd never met before, right? And he like tells me, yeah, I met him at the Walmart off of like college, that Walmart. First time I ever meet him, and I said I wanted like a gram. And I come and I get this guy to hop into his car, right? He's like, how much did you want to get? He starts pulling bags of dope out, right? He's like, well, a gram, 2 grams.
What year was this?
This is like, so this was
2011?
2012.
We were out here using it at the same time.
Yeah. And
I was in Oceanside. I used to buy at that Walmart all the time.
I was like, dude, you don't even know me, bro. And you're pulling up and you've got all this. I called my buddy. I was like, bro, it could be like Christmas out here if you want. You know what I mean? You can just take shit from people. They're fucking idiots, but like I didn't like, because I don't want to blow my plug. And so I bought it. And then he had to hook up on a doctor. And so then he plugged me in with this doctor. Oh, also concurrent with all of this, you know what I mean? Like, like we would go to Vegas and I got hit by this truck one time. So I had like, my back was all fucked up.
Okay.
I'll tell, this story's actually pretty good. So like I was shooting speedballs, right? And my car ran out of gas and I parked at this thing. And so there's like a 3-lane road, State Street in my town, right? And so like, so I go across and I'm driving 3 lanes. And I'm fucked up, dude. And so like the first one, like I just jog across, right? And there's like, car in front of them, like I jog across and I'm in like the middle lane. There's another one right there. And so like I go in front of that one, right? So then like I'm in like the 3rd lane and there's like this truck is like basically like parallel to me, and I'm really high. And so in my head, I'm like, if I just run really fast, I'll be faster than it, right? So I run really fast and I run right in front of this fucking Toyota Tacoma, because I thought I was faster than the fucking Tacoma. And so he hits me like fucking full on and I backflipped, right? And I scraped my knees and I landed on my feet and I'm sitting there and this dude's like, are you all right? And I'm like, fuck, I think so. And then he just, just drives off, which I don't blame him. I just ran in front of him. He just got the fuck out of there. And I remember these kids, they're like, dude, holy shit, that was the fucking sickest thing I've ever seen. I was like, man, I wish we caught that on video, like that would have been like really cool. And they're like these, they were like teenagers, and
Yeah.
there's like a couple in their like 20s, because I was like maybe like 19 or 20 at this time, like when that happened, and they're like fucking just kind of looking at this, and these old people are just looking at me like shocked, you know, like what the fuck.
So you never called the cops on that guy, hit and run, nothing.
No,
Okay.
I was fucking, yeah, speedball high, running around,
Right,
whatever.
duh.
But then
Okay.
like, but then my back,
But you had complications from it
yeah, then
later.
my back was fucked up, you know?
Oh
And so then I started to
shit.
use that. So like concurrent with all this like heroin stuff, like also we would run around, and there's a lot of doctors, like, you know, pill mill shit was going on at that time, where like, you know, I would have like junkies, and like there are people, and like I would like pay for their scripts, and I'd pay for their doctor visit, and then I did like, you know, half of their prescriptions, you know what I mean? Then I used this and I used that as a way to like start getting like paperwork. And so like, and I had a friend who's like really good at like fabricating this, and had a lot of like crooked doctors in like Vegas and like Utah and shit like that. So then you'd go and you go to the different doctors, and back then it wasn't all like connected, so you could go in different states and you could do stuff, right? And so like every time you go to a doctor, you have like more paperwork, you know what I mean, that like documents it. And so then you can go to the next doctor and be like, look, I have all this, right? You know? And so like, so I started like getting that. And then like, so I met this guy, you know, and he had a doctor, this dude, fucking Dr. Sharma is his name, and he would like fucking, he was prescribing just like 300 like 60s, like off the 360 30s off the rip, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, and so, but he didn't want me to do it, like, because he's like, we already have too many young guys. And so like then my dad went instead, and they like faked all the shit. So then he's going, so I have that script. And then like I knew this chick, and I was like buying a bunch of other people's scripts, you know what I'm saying? And then there was this website, I don't remember what this shit was fucking called, man. But there used to be like this website where you can go and basically just like have like questions like for anything, and you could be like, where can I buy drugs? You know what I mean? It's like, well, very like obvious, you know? And so like I had an email address that I registered called like got blues like hotmail.com, right? Like that's like basically what it was. And I was like, yo, like text me if you want. So people would like fucking, you know, email me like, hey, I'm looking for this. And so I just started having strangers like meet me, right? And like,
Around Oceanside?
yeah, just all around like Oceanside. I was working in Carlsbad, and
God, I
so
wonder if we met.
I mean, I don't think so.
I don't think we did
I would have
either.
remembered.
You think?
I'm good with that kind of thing.
I looked really normal too.
Okay.
Like people got freaked out by me. It's before I was strung out. At that time, I was like teaching bar, and people would see me and be like, "That's not the girl." Like, yeah, and they'd have to be like, "No, that's actually really her." And they'd pull over, and I'd be like, "Hi."
But you know,
Later, I did look
were
all
you
fucked.
what were you doing? What kind of drugs were you doing?
Heroin.
Heroin.
Yeah.
See, like you could, I don't know, man. Like opiates, you can look normal. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, I didn't later though.
Yeah.
Because eventually I became homeless, right? And
But
then I don't look normal at all.
yeah, but that's because you're homeless, not because you do opiates. I mean, maybe you're homeless because
Yeah.
you do the opiates. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying, like
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah, and then speed would get mixed in, and I would pick my face
yeah.
too.
See,
There
I
was
feel like
that
meth
too.
is more of like the thing
It
that,
damages
like,
you a little
yeah,
bit
you
more.
know, and like
Yeah.
you could see someone that's like a tweaker, and like, oh, you look
God.
fucked up, right?
Did you know?
I mean, I don't think so.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
like I don't like.
I'm gonna cut all that out, Matt, by the way, but those were my 3 main connects.
Yeah.
Is my good
For
friend. He'd
dope?
come on the show. Yeah,
So
for
like,
heroin.
so like I was, when I came here, like I wasn't really doing like I did heroin like initially. This kid named was his name, you know, like, but like I got into the fucking
The pill
pills,
side.
yeah.
All
And
right.
well, and I got into methadone real quick too.
All right,
You know what I
okay,
mean? So
okay,
like I
okay,
was going to a
okay.
methadone clinic, and then I
Okay.
was just selling a lot of pills.
Escondido?
Yeah. No, it's
Or the other one?
the one off like
In Vista.
Vista,
Yeah,
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 like off
okay.
of like
Me
the
too.
76
Yeah.
or whatever,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Or 78.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so that's always my thing. Like I would like do drugs for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I, you know, like if I could do, you know, methadone and then like eat some benzos, like that's usually like good enough for me. You know what I mean? And like I'd rather do that and like get that buzz and then be able to sell drugs. Right?
Totally.
And
Okay.
so like
That's smarter.
yeah, and I wasn't really like selling heroin out here.
All
Like,
right,
at all.
okay,
Like
okay.
I got into pills, I got plugged in
Okay.
real quick, and then fucking, and I was doing that, and like this chick that like I met like through the doctor, like you know, I was able to buy all her scripts, and then I had someone else, and I was just like buying, you know, and she would,
Holy
you know, get a lot of
shit.
scripts. I had just, you know, meet people. This was back then too. You don't understand. You could take like homeless people and you can bring them to the doctor, you know what I mean? And they would get scripts, and you just like fucking, you know, pay them, right? And like you would just fill their prescription. They were writing out like a lot, you know. This was like 2013, like it was kind of coming to the end, but it was still peaking. Like we had a lot of it. Didn't take much, right? You know, like a little bit of effort, worth it. And so anyway, so I was doing that like on that one website, you know, and I met a lot of people. I got fucking set up by this chick, and so I got fucking like DA and fucking like Oceanside
Out
PD.
here?
Yeah, yeah, I got a trafficking charge out
Oh,
here.
shit.
Yeah, I'd been out here for a year, so I was on the run the whole time, right? Like, because for my other charges, it was horrible. I would just go to work, and then I'd come home, and I'd just drink methadone, eat fucking Xanax, and then like I'd go outside and like I'd serve people up. You know what I mean? So I lived right next to the fucking transit center in Oceanside,
Yeah.
and so like I was running around doing that, and like back like before, like I'd go down before it was like hotels and shit when it's just that parking lot right there.
Yeah.
So I'd tell people to meet me there, and then I'd go up to like the other parking lot and I'd stand up there and I'd make sure like no cops or anyone was
Holy
coming, or I'd like, you know what I
shit.
mean,
Yeah, I know
do
that
that.
exact
Yeah,
area.
and then I'd like run down there and serve people, you know? So I'd do
Wow.
that just like all around. And
And
yeah,
somebody sets you up.
yeah, you know, because I was dealing with a lot of people, and you know, I like some chick fucking that I didn't deal with that much. She hooked me up with her friend, right? And she was like this hot blonde, you know what I'm saying? Fucking, I love hot trashy blondes, you know what I mean? And so like, and she was like a clean cut girl too, and so like, and she would come buy shit from me, you know?
And you think that's who set you
Well,
up?
she's a cop. No, she was she was absolutely she was a police officer.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was again, these motherfuckers are stupid. So, but her friend is the one that like I know her friend is the one that like connected me with
Yeah,
her.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
because
yeah.
I didn't really know her that well, but I was just all dealing with strangers.
So do they raid you again at your house?
No, so what happened was they did a controlled buy on me. Dude, it was so crazy too. Like I remember like fucking driving down. I was because like I told them, okay, like meet me at whatever what would it used to be like a Vaughn's or some shit, like right off like Oceanside Boulevard. It was like a grocery store,
Oh, by the gas station and by the trailer park?
like kind of, yeah, like right there, like on the other side, like if like McDonald's is over here, like on the other side used to be like that grocery store. Then it turned to
Oh,
like a Michael's,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah.
like, you know, now there's like the CVS and shit's there, but like it used to be a grocery store back then.
That like Smart and Final.
So
Something like
no,
that.
not the
No?
smart file's still there on the other side.
Okay, okay.
So anyways, I
Regardless.
told him to meet me there, right?
Ralph's.
Yeah.
It was a Ralph's.
Ralph's. Yeah, I told him to meet me at Ralph's. And like, okay, cool. Like fucking, and then they called me like, oh, I'm here. And I'm like, where? And they're like, and it was some place where I'd met her before, right? Like near my work off of like Palomar Airport. I'm like, no, I told you to meet me at the Ralph's here. She's like, oh, okay. I'll be there in like 10 minutes, you know? And like, and then she called me like an hour later, right? And I'm all fucking loaded on like methadone, like, you know, Xanax and shit like that. But like, still, I knew there was something wrong. Like, why did it take you a fucking hour, you know, to get there, right? And I remember like, and so I'm driving there, I drink a bunch of methadone, I drive down, and like I left my wallet like at home. Like, I'm just not gonna bring my wallet, right? Like some reason, because it's like I knew that there was something bad, but like, you know, like my like spidey sense was tingling. And I was listening, there's this Pusha T song that's literally called Snitch, and it's about like his friend like ratting him out, and I was like playing like on my like car radio as like I drove down there, you know? And so like fucking, so I go and I meet this chick and I serve her up, dude, and she buys like, it was like I don't even remember, dude, like 5 pills or something like that, 5 or like 10 pills, right? Which is pretty. I was selling people like, you know, like 90 at a time, right? So like if you would have just asked me, I would have sold you way more. But the chick that like referred her to me, like I only ever sold her like maybe like 3 or 4.
So they didn't know that,
Yeah,
fortunately.
exactly. So like they didn't know that like fucking,
Holy
you know, like I was moving like weight like that, or probably would have been a lot worse for me. And so anyways, so I go and I serve her up. And then she's like, oh, yeah, I'll call you. You know, you're my North County guy.
Oh
Some
my
shit.
God.
And I'm like, fuck. So I go and I jump back into my car. I'm like, I want to get a cheesesteak grill. And so, like, I go to get a cheesesteak. And I look, and, like, this chick's following me. And she's behind me. And then, like, this cop car is behind me. And I'm like, fuck, dude. It was just, like, weird, right? You know, like, how they got right behind me. And I turned in. And I pull in to where the fucking McDonald's is, right? Like I was going to the cheesecake place, and then they light me up, and I pull over in the McDonald's parking lot, and it's like minivan like pulls up next to me, and then they jump out with like fucking AKs and shit like that. I'm like, oh, get your hands in the car. I'm like, oh fuck. And it was the same fucking cop that pulled me over like months before in like Carlsbad on some like bullshit. He said like I did some illegal lane change.
So they were following you.
Yeah, they've been on me for like a hot minute. And he's like, and I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? He's like, do you have any drugs or guns in the car? I'm like, no. And then, but I had warrants out for my arrest, right?
Yeah.
And they just like let me go, you know? And so,
So when they got you that second time, they were well aware of the warrants from Utah also.
yeah,
all right, which is probably why they had the van and all this and
I
all
mean,
that.
I thought they were aware
Yeah.
of the warrants, I should say. I thought they were because I was on the run, right? And so, but they were, no, I think they were just like,
they just how they would have handled it with anybody.
well, I was selling this shit they were pissed because I was like blatantly selling it on the internet, and like I had like, you know, on this website with like an ad
Oh,
that's
they
like
knew
I
that.
got blues. Yeah, they knew all about
All
that.
right.
And I
Okay.
think that like offended them, you know, because like they got the DA involved, you know what I mean? Like they had like the cops. They came, dude, you know what? I'll say this though, the cops out here are way fucking cooler
Yeah.
than like fucking like back home. Like, yo, I was wearing shorts. I had a fentanyl patch in my pocket, right? Like someone had like traded me. I had like a little baggie of like Xanax and shit. They come, they arrest me. You know, this cop's talking to me. He's like, "Do you remember me?" And I'm like, "No," you know, like, even though I knew exactly who he was from that time. So they bring me, they book me down Lake Vista, right?
Yeah.
You know, they're talking to me. They bring me in. They have me talk to like the DEA guy, and he tells me about how like fucking, oh, you can be like a snitch, and you know what I mean? Like you get like 30%, and like we'll always like they tell you that you can get like 30% or something like that of like everything you set up. He's like, we'll always burn a source, or we'll burn a case before we like burn a source. I'm like, bro, I don't, you know what I mean? I can't help you with that.
Nobody ever offered me to be a snitch,
Yeah, no,
man.
dude,
But no, this happened to my ex too. But nobody ever. I think it was clear I didn't have any information.
they were trying, like they were like asking me who I knew and this
Oh,
and that and stuff,
wow.
and like they were trying to like get me to like rat someone
Yeah, I
out,
must have
and I
looked
was like,
clearly
bro, I
like I didn't
really
know
like can't
anything.
even help you because I wasn't gonna like rat on my fucking plug,
Obviously.
you know what I mean? I'm
Of
like,
course.
oh no, dude. And so yeah, so they're there and like, okay, and so they fucking keep me there. So I bail out. Out here, you can just bail out like with a fucking credit card,
Yeah.
right? Like you can't do that. Someone has to bring money to the jail in Utah and pick you up to leave. So like I bail out and I'm like, I'm gonna get extradited, right? Like I for sure I thought I was getting extradited back to Utah. And then they just let me go. And in the cops, he's like, hey man, he's like, we drove your car over here. We don't want to leave it in Oceanside. It's a fucking shithole. I don't want someone to break into it. So, you know, like it's in the parking lot. Here are your keys. You know what I mean? Like they're cool as fuck. Like they didn't impound it. I get back in my car. The fentanyl patch is in my fucking thing, my glove box. They took it out and they put it back. I don't know if they didn't know what it was.
They must not have known what it was.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They must not have known what it was.
So this was, you know, when
I got pulled over once with Suboxone strips all over the car. They didn't know what it was yet. And it was in 2011. The cops picked it up and threw it on the ground, like 5 of them. They didn't know what it was yet.
Yeah, that's what, you know, but still they didn't impound my car. Like, dude, if that would happen in Utah, like I would have got a DUI. I would have got like multiple different possession charges. You know what I mean? My car
You
would have
also
been found.
kind of got lucky because I've had cops out here be really mean to me.
I mean, that's true.
So I think it depends. It depends.
Well, you
So
know,
wait,
it's
you
also
don't get
different if you're like
charged?
running and gunning around here and they see if they deal with
Yes.
you a lot and they're
Right,
like, hey,
which-
dumbass, I know
yes.
you, you know?
Yes.
Because that's how they were in Utah. They hated me because I was
Yeah.
always getting jammed up.
That's true too. My first DUI, they did not impound my car, which was really nice. You know, after that, it always got impounded. But by the time they were being mean to me, they knew me. And more importantly, they knew my ex. And they thought he was a piece of shit because he kind of was. And they fucking hated both of us. And we were real junky trash. Like, you know, they'd have to put gloves on because we had sores. We were gross. They hated both of us.
Yeah, that's how it was for the cops.
You know?
Hated me in Utah all the time. Like it was all.
So wait, you don't get charged with
Oh no, I
anything
caught a
from this?
trafficking
Oh, you
charge.
did. Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's
So,
right. You said
yeah.
that. Okay.
So I got a trafficking charge.
So
out
what
here.
comes from that?
So that's when so that is when I ended up doing that 6 months that I was telling you about, and I did the first rapid detoxes. They're basically like you can do a bullet or you can go do treatment, you know. And
Oh.
so I'm like, okay.
You did it at Vista County or down at George Bailey?
No, I didn't do it. I
Oh.
was like, okay, I'll
Oh,
do the
you
treatment.
do treatment.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
I was like, I'll do treatment. And so
Okay,
like then I
okay.
found this program up on the mountain, Sober Ranch. It was called Palomar Mountain. And so I went and I did, I did my first rapid detox, did a Vivitrol shot.
Okay.
I had my hoodie. I lined my hoodie with 30s, like the string in my hoodie, like I opened it up and like I unstitched and I filled it up with 30s. So that way, like as soon as like my Vivitrol shot ran out, I started fucking, doing 30s.
So
I'm
no
like,
intentions of getting
absolutely
clean.
no intentions.
And you're what, 26, 27 now?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And so I did not want to get clean at all. That's what, like, I was going to meetings all the time, right? They would bring me to meetings out there like every day. I didn't.
Not listening.
No, I didn't listen at all. I didn't want to, dude. I don't want to be sober. Who the fuck wants to be sober? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I never.
Not at first.
No,
Now I love it, and I know you're like me.
Yeah,
you love
me
it too.
but
I
like,
didn't then.
At the time,
Yeah, me
I
neither.
was like,
Me neither.
it seemed completely retarded to want to
Of course.
be sober, like, especially when you could, like, I hated the way I felt all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I needed drugs. Like, that's just it. And, like, if I could do something to make me feel different, I'm going to.
Yeah.
And, like, by this point, like I've been doing this shit for so long, like it was just like I'm a junkie, right? Like that just this is what I am, you know? So like the name of the like there is no other option. I don't know that there is a solution, right? So that's why like, you know, like
Did
dealing
you care
drugs,
about that? Did that make you sad? Like, this is my life as an adult, or not really?
I mean, I just these are hand you're dealt. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Like that's just what it is, you know?
Yeah.
And so like I just so it was just basically like so my whole deal was just like make enough money to like comfortably be able to do what I have to do. You know what I mean? And so like it was like if I could just be like if I could just have money and I can just have drugs, then you know, it's not life isn't as shitty.
Where's your dad during all this?
Fucking being stupid, strung out,
All right.
staying with me. Fucking I go to fucking jail, you know, or I go to treatment, right? I sneak a cell phone in. Like I'm like trying to run like this fucking pill operation, like while like I'm in there. Like I have people calling me, they're like, dude, your dad is fucking this all up. Like
Oh,
he doesn't have to do, you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, just do this. Like I have like everything like set in stone. You know what I mean? Like here, like do this, hear this, you know what I mean? Like this dude doesn't work. He just gets high, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
your
fucking
dad.
yeah. Like that's just what he does. Like, you know, we got like uh, like he like I had these scripts and so like I told him like listen bro here's the deal like that first script of him you know what I'm saying I'm like check it out dude like fucking I got this you know what I mean like we're getting 360 you know what I'm saying like I'm paying it like this is like half mine half yours right like so like we have to fucking make money so we can pay for rent you know what I mean so like I'm gonna do that you know and then like I'm gonna sell these to make more money right you know so you can also do that and make money. And he's like, no, I just want the pills to get high. Okay, man. You know what I mean? Like, you know, that's what you want to do.
Right.
This becomes a source of contention in our lives a lot down the road. You know
Okay.
what I mean? Because like, you know,
You have the money.
yeah. And, you know, I feel like you had the opportunity to do it too.
You
You
did.
know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you decided to get loaded, you know?
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, well, because of me, we did this. And I'm like, bruh,
Does it come up now?
I don't
Still?
I have no relationship with my
Oh,
father.
you don't?
No.
Oh, all right.
No,
Okay, okay,
at
okay.
all.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
because
Because
of
it's stuff like this.
because of all this,
Okay.
yeah, because of money and
Got
shit
it.
like that,
All
and
right.
like you know, just all and drugs and
Yeah.
whatever. So,
Okay.
um,
So what starts you go to treatment for 6 months, you have no interest in getting clean, you get out of treatment, and then what starts to happen in your life?
so I get out of treatment, I get out, and I was clean, like so, like I did those pills, right, and then I stayed clean, like in whatchamacallit, like treatment for like a few months. You know, I'm trying to deal with these charges during this time while I'm in treatment. So what happened is Utah, they hadn't put my warrant national. So my warrant goes national during that. And so then I go to like a court date in Vista. And so then Utah comes like on a thing for me, right? You know?
Okay.
And so like, and so then
They
like,
bring you back?
so no, so I told them, hey, I'm in treatment, I'm doing this, right? Like, but I'll come back, like, okay, finish it and then come back for a court date, you know? And so I'm like, okay, cool. So, and I had some clean time because I was in the program, like, well, I'm just gonna go to, so then I get out, I'm like, I'm gonna go to jail anyway. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get fucking high, right? Because like I can, you know, and then I'm just gonna have to kick I'm just have to kick anyways. So I'm gonna go to jail in Utah, you know what I mean? And so like, and you know, but it was cool because like I had some clean time, so now I can get out and I have all these 30s and shit like that, and I can get high off just 30s, right? You know what I mean? So it doesn't take a lot to get me loaded, and I love Oxycontin, that's my favorite drug, you know. So I started doing that, and you know, I go,
Drew, you're a miracle. How much time do you have now? 6 years?
no, like not coming up on like maybe like 4.5.
Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a lot for me.
It's a lot for anybody, but also based on all this.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
And so anyways, like I go to Utah, I go to court, you know, and I talk to them. I talk to my probation, like you know, I do like my pre-sentence report this time. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sober. He's like, how much time do you have? I'm like, what do I say? Like something like, I don't know, like 167 days or some shit, right? And he's like, see, sir. He's like, this is how I know you're really sober. He's like, because most time when people are lying, they're just like, oh, I have like this many months. But when you say every single day, like, I know you're telling the truth. I'm like, yes, sir, that's me. Like, I'm sober and shit. But I wasn't. I was high as fuck, obviously.
Yeah, I know.
Like, and so, yeah. And so I was like, okay, cool. You know, so I'm getting ready. I'm going to court, right? I'm like, okay, let's go in there, you know, get a little package together to bring in. You know what I mean? Because, like, fucking be in there. Let's make it happen, right? And I figure, you know, my lawyer thinks like I'm gonna, you know, not do like a lot of time,
But
you
some
know, maybe-
time.
yeah, you know, like a few months to, you know, I don't know, anywhere from like 3 months to a year, right? He
Okay.
doesn't really know. The judge is mad at me, whatever. So I go in there, dude, tell the judge, listen, man, like I'm, getting ready, I'm going to school out in California. I've lived there now for a couple of years, so I can like qualify for like the stuff, right? I'm old enough that I can do my own fights and shit. Like, and I kind of gotten the process started. I'm like, I'm gonna go to school, do this. Like, I'm on probation in California. And the judge is just basically like, dude, you know what? Just like fucking, you're on probation here. Like, I'm putting you on probation. He's like, don't come back here for 3 years. That's it. Like, he's like, if people want to see
Just
you,
get
they
out
come
of the
visit you.
state.
Just like, yeah, go away, go home. And like, I just fucking, and that was it.
Wow.
And my lawyer like blew his mind. He's like, holy shit, dude. He's like, I've never seen that happen. He like had all this and fucking, they just like do that. I was like, plus I ran, bro. He's like,
I know.
"You ran, yeah.
You ran. They did that to my ex too. They hated my ex, and he had some gnarly charges. And they told him, my mom was there, and she was like, "I'll get him on a plane today."
Yeah.
And they were like, "Just leave California. Don't ever come back. We don't want you here." Yeah. And he was like, "Okay." And he never came back. And actually, like a month later, they released a warrant for him on some like home invasion stuff. And I don't know if that warrant is still active now, but they wanted him to just leave the state. Sometimes I think they're just like, "You're a bad guy. We don't want you to live here."
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's just like I think like for me, because I don't know, at least there, like I would get the same judge every time, right? Like just because of like where I was and like I always get assigned to him in like my previous cases, and so
So he must have believed you were actually doing better or something, or
I
he just wanted you gone.
yeah, that's what I think.
He
I
just
think it
wanted
was
you
just like,
gone.
dude, like I haven't seen you for a while. You're gone. Oh, you're here. Like I'm like, listen, dude, I have to be out there. Like I'm on paper out there. Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
doing
yeah.
this. Like I got
You
called.
just became California's
I don't
problem.
want to be here. And they're like, good, fucking bye. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah. So then fucking I went to school out here, and so like during that time, I'd met some people. You know what I mean? Like that from like my like days on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Like that I met like locally, and they lived back east, and so they would call me up and like, hey bro, like would you like send this to me back east, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And so I'd send him some pills here and there.
Yeah.
And like I'd start out with this one guy and then like a couple of his friends, and he would come out here, and then he was out here one time and he's like, hey man, like you're actually like pretty good at this, because like I never rip people off. Like that's like good white business is like my like, you know what I mean, like motto, right?
We have to cut out the word white, but okay.
So I never rip any people off, right? You know what I mean? It's like good like business, you know what I'm saying? Like that's like what I want to do. Like I'm not trying to screw you over,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, like I'm gonna charge you what I'm gonna charge you, but I'm gonna show up when I say I'm gonna show up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're gonna get what you pay for, right? Like that's just always like kind of was like a thing of mine. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, so like I never screwed the kid over. And so he's like, hey, you should do this. And so then he put me on to like the dark web. And so I started getting into that. He showed me how to do that. I was going to school at the time. I was always into computers. I was going to school for computer science. And yeah, so I started just like getting into that. And it was really cool. I really liked it a lot because it like allowed me to combine like a lot of like
computers,
my interests.
entrepreneurial stuff.
Customer service. Like I worked a lot of customer service jobs. Like, you're dealing with people, dealing with like ratings and stuff like that. Like dealing with like, like I'm emailing them, doing that. Like I was able to be innovative in some ways that like other people weren't doing.
Can we say the site or no?
What?
Can we say the site name or no?
Oh yeah. I mean, like I don't know.
Silk Road.
Yeah, Silk Road.
Oh, just because people think it's kind of like cool. Some people remember it. So that's just kind of the only, and we
Silk
don't
Road is like the
no
biggest.
other details.
Yeah,
we need,
Silk
but
Road. Silk
I
Road is
know
the
you
biggest
did well
one.
with it.
Yeah,
and
Silk
you
Road is the biggest
built
one.
a little following, and you had a good reputation.
Yeah. It was for. I mean,
this part of your story is really fascinating. We spoke about it a lot more than we're going to right now, but it's really fascinating.
Yeah, it was interesting, and
how long does that last?
That lasts for. That was for a couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, like like that.
And it's safer and not traceable, right?
I mean, so like I had by this point in time, like by the time I'd moved out to California, like what I mean, like I had, even before that in Utah, like I had got sick of like dealing like getting arrested for stupid shit, and I'm like, if I'm ever gonna get arrested again, like I want to go federal. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to do like something. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be worth it, right? Like I'm sick of all like this like fucking bullshit, And so like. Is it safer? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like it was,
they did Silk Road stings, obviously, on people.
People definitely got in trouble, and it is breaking like a lot of laws, but like, on a different level. And, the things that I was doing, you know what I mean? Like it, like, you know, they're easier than other things, you know, like based on just like the nature of like, you know, like what a pill is and like that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like, you know, if you're like sending, you know, fucking pounds of weed, you know what I mean? Like that's, you know,
Right.
you can smell it. There's dogs, like, you know,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
takes up a
yeah.
lot of space. You know what I'm saying? So like
Totally.
there's like
Okay.
that kind of stuff, you know?
Okay. So
So
you were
like,
able to stay under the radar the whole time.
I mean, until I wasn't, you know,
Do you
like,
eventually get busted for that?
no, but it started getting hot.
Oh, okay. Oh, I don't think I even knew that.
Yeah, no, it definitely started. I mean, I started getting in trouble, you know,
What
like
made you think that did you think that somebody was paying attention to like your username and stuff?
yeah, I mean, like I had bank accounts get shut down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because like, so like, because so the way it would work is like, you know, they would pay with Bitcoin, you know what I mean?
Right,
And
right,
so like,
right.
which, you know, now
Not traceable at that time.
yeah, I mean, no, not really. But like also like not you can't do anything. Like now people know what a Bitcoin is, right? And now it's like, you know, a mainstream thing. But like back then, like you couldn't fucking do anything with Bitcoin, right? And the only people that want it are other like drug addicts, you know what I'm saying? People that are using it for this, you know what I mean? Or like, you know, really far-sighted people, you know what I mean, that understand like what it is, you know? Like so people don't really want it, you know? Like and so I had a lot of Bitcoin and I had to fucking, you know, get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? And so like in the way you do it, there used to be a website called there used to be a website where you could go and you could connect with other people and like you could sell Bitcoin and then they could, you know, pay you in cash for that, right? And
Oh.
so like so it'd be like,
So you
hey,
get rid of it.
yeah, so like, you know, they'd be like, I'm selling it for this much, right? And they'd say, okay, I'll give you this much cash for it. And then it'd be held in escrow. And then like they would like go and they'd like, I'd give them like my bank account information. They make a deposit in my bank account, you know, and then like, then the Bitcoin would get released to them once I get it. But like, guess what? You know, fucking Wells Fargo or what was it, Bank of America, like they don't like, you know what I mean, when you're getting like a bunch of like cash deposit all over the country in your bank account, like that starts to look a little weird, you
Totally.
know? So
Okay.
and one day your bank account gets shut down, right?
Oh my
And
gosh.
so like so
But
that
did anybody ever come talk to you about a shutdown bank account or no?
no,
You would just
no.
go to a different bank and open another one?
Yeah, I just went there and I mean like and then they just like they wouldn't even told me. I just went in there one day and they like tried to like steal my money basically, like fucking I like tried to steal my safety deposit box. Like if I didn't ask, they wouldn't have told me about it. Like they're criminals, dude. Banks are the
Well,
worst.
I agree with that actually.
So like, you
That
know,
I
like,
agree with.
yeah, they're bad. But so yeah, so like that happened, you know,
Okay,
things started
okay.
like getting like a little, you know, like hot, like, you know, like just I don't know. I started getting more attention, you know what I mean? Like, you know, on the whole like pill thing, right? That was like making me uncomfortable,
Okay.
you know, and around this time too, like, you know, like I'm starting to get more into, you know, crypto and whatever, and I'm paying attention to what it is, you know, and I, you know, start trying to learn more about that, right? So eventually just like I just decided like, you know, I didn't like, you know what I mean? Like things it was getting to be more than I wanted to deal with. You know what I mean? Like it's one thing when I was just like, you know, a few people here or there, but like I was good at what I did. And
Yeah.
so
So
like,
you've got ratings and a
yeah,
following and a lot of people.
yeah, it's starting to get big and it was, you know, and it was bigger. It was getting to a place that I didn't want anything to do with. You know what I mean? Because like just volume starts increasing, you know what I mean? And just
Yeah.
in every way, in, out, all the stuff, you know what I mean? It's just and I'm just one person, you know, and like and I that's not what I signed up for, you know? Like I'm not trying to do this. And so like I like got nervous and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
want to fucking, you know, do this shit.
So you got out.
Yeah, yeah. So I got out, you
Wow.
know, and that was really cool. You know, I would like to say that I had a lot of Bitcoin go
Go
through
through
my
your
hands.
hands.
Yeah, you know, like everyone, any single person that was on the dark web back then, that
Wishes they had kept their
you'll
Bitcoin.
all hear the same story from all of them. You know what I mean? Like, which is that,
I interviewed a guy 2 weeks ago
yeah,
who he had one of the first vape companies ever in 2013, and he was at some trade show, and one of his partners was like, "Hey, these Russian guys wanna buy whatever at $70,000," and Rob was like, "Okay, cool, it's a good idea, we'll do it," and he's like, "Yeah, they wanna do it in Bitcoin though, 70,000 Bitcoin, individuals," and Rob was like, "Tell them to take their fucking communist money somewhere else, that computer scam bullshit," and now, of course, when I'm interviewing him, he's like, "Ah,"
yeah. I mean,
everybody's got a story.
yeah, it happens to all of us. Any single person, you know what I mean, that was in there. You know what I mean? Like that's just you deal with it a lot, you know what I mean? And you saw it come and you saw it go, you know.
Totally.
If you're smart, you are able to at least like, you know, like I started learning about it, you know, like at the
That was
end,
smart,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? To where like, okay, like, you know, this is something I want
It's
to get into. And then,
legitimate. I could learn about it,
yeah,
whatever.
learning about like trading, you know what I mean? And like that
Yeah,
kind of stuff, right?
yeah.
But yeah.
So, as I told you, we were only going to go an hour and 15, and we're at like an hour 45.
Oh shit.
But doesn't it go fast?
Yeah,
It's
well,
great.
I guess I'm one of those guys that's just
No, no,
fucking,
no,
yeah.
no, 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 no. This is good though. Trust me. Trust me. I would have stopped you a long time ago. That said,
Yeah.
how do we get to your where you are now? I mean, so there's the Bitcoin shit, Silk Road stuff. How do you end up finally getting clean? How many years pass and what
Okay,
happens?
so that's like, you know, 2000, you know, like, so I get out around like 2017.
Okay, so this is now getting more recent.
Yeah, you know, that's what
And you live out here that whole
I live out
time.
here, yeah, you know, I'm able to get
Do you
out.
ever have a wife or a girlfriirlfriend during any of this?
No, no,
Really?
yeah, no wife, no like serious relationships, really, yeah. You know, I just, I mean, I was
Just doing
heroin,
the
opiates, and
Yeah,
money.
yeah, yeah,
Now,
that's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like that,
Yeah.
what I cared about, you know? And so yeah, so none of that. You know, I learned about a lot of people die on me, you know, like from a young age, like all of my friends. Like, so I told you I moved around a lot, right? So it wasn't until like I lived in Utah that like I was able to like actually like be somewhere and kind of like settled in and start like connecting with people and like having like good friends. So I was like moving around, moving around. And my friends just all died. I remember like I had like two friends named Cole. I went to one friend, my friend, one Cole, he dies like January like 13th, 14th. I go to his funeral with my buddy Cole. A month later in February, that Cole's dead, right?
Well, overdose?
Yeah, all over us. Like heroin like ran through everyone I know. Like I have like acquaintances, like I lost count, it's over 50. You know what I mean? Of like people that are dead. So like that like kind of like really traumatized me. And I like learned
So you
like,
weren't trying to connect with a lot of
yeah,
people?
I didn't like to be like close to people. You know what I mean?
You had your brother and your dad too.
Yeah,
When you have family around, it makes it easier to not connect, I think.
exactly.
You know?
And I mean, you know, I was just out here just like grinding. I mean, like there's, you know, partying and stuff like that, but it was really, I was just like, you know, just like locked in like on that shit. And so,
So 2017, you get out of Silk Road and all that stuff.
yeah,
And then how do we get to, when you finally stop?
I mean, so I got out of that, you know, and then, I was able to get out with some money, you know what I mean? And, you know, honestly, like
And just kind of live,
I
right?
thought I made it, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, like this, because I always thought like
Yeah, your dream was to have enough money to just use.
yeah, I thought
But
about,
why doesn't that end up satisfying you? I think that's interesting.
yeah, I thought that if I just had like a prescription of pain pills, you know what I mean? So I could just drive around and like, you know, like not get DUIs and like just be able to be like fucked up like that, like I'd be cool, you know, like let me pay my bills and do that. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? Like I, you know, had my doctors, I had all my scripts, I had money, I could do stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like I, you know, had more than like I planned on. My bills were paid, you know, I can go to fucking Vegas and, you know, fucking party and shit like that, you know, and like do stuff. And that should have been it, you know what I mean? But it
Why
wasn't.
why not?
I mean,
You didn't feel fulfilled.
yeah, that was the first time when I ever like realized, you know what I mean? Like when I'd have it, like it was probably like one of the worst years of my life. That was like 2018. Like, here's all this stuff that like you've been working for, you know what I mean? I'm hanging out with a lot of people, you know, like they're not my friends really, you know what I mean? Just like, you know, acquaintances and shit like that, just partying with and stuff. I don't have like any like real like close relationships, you know? Like I have like all the drugs that I want to do and I don't like feel good. And so that's like when I like started on it, you know? And so like after like a year of that, that's when I did my second, you know, rapid detox, you know? I was able to, you know, stay off of opiates for like a year and a half.
Oh.
But like I had a shitload of like 30s still, like thousands, like in my safe. And my plan was just like to do them like a couple times a year, just like around the holidays, you know what I mean? And I was able to, you know, stay clean off opiates because again, clean for me is just always not doing opiates,
Right.
right? So that was just my problem for fucking, for yeah, for like you know, a year and a half ish. And then COVID happened, you know, and then I ended up relapsing, you
Oh, you
know.
did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And you live in Carlsbad during this time?
no, I lived in Oceanside.
Okay.
So I was in Oceanside. My brother was out with me. We started using again. We ran through all those pills. Then we started, you know, doing fucking like pressed pills and shit like that.
Oh, right, now
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
fentanyl.
Now it's fentanyl. I hate fentanyl, so now I'm strung out on fentanyl.
Did you know it was fentanyl? You knew.
Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
People
But
knew by then.
yeah, I don't like fentanyl. I don't think it wasn't fun to me.
Yeah.
Like I loved oxycontin, even heroin. I mean, I did that shit for years. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I could function. Fentanyl, it's
You
like
fall
opiate
asleep.
crack. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just you hit it and you're slumped down and you wake back up and you have to do it again. It's like
Yeah.
I can't do shit on it,
Yeah.
And so yeah, so do that. And so then that just led into like, a couple years of just like on and off, like trying to do it and like get off of it and shit. And, and
Going to a
yeah,
therapist
going to therapist, trying to go
who
to like,
tells you to call somebody from the
well,
HA
she was telling me to go to
website.
meetings and I didn't like AA meetings. And just like you were talking about before, like, let me try HA, you know what I mean? Because like I'm a heroin addict, like that's my thing, like I'm not actually an alcoholic. That's how like I thought, I didn't know anything about it, you know what I mean? And so like, well, let's give this a try. And, it took a while.
Which meeting did you go to first?
The first
The
meeting.
park? Yeah. Which HA did you go to first?
Oh, Saturday.
Oh, ours.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was my first. Yeah. Cause I went to, like when I came back here after I went and did a detox someplace. And I felt like 28 days. And by that time I, was like, I'm going to try this whole program shit out.
This is your sobriety date we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. What makes you go on this final detox?
I mean,
Nothing in particular.
no, I mean, it was just building up, dude, like it's COVID, like I'm fucking fat and like feel like shit. I'm eating like super unhealthy, right? I got back on heroin. I hadn't done heroin for years, but I got back on heroin to get off fucking, fentanyl, right? My homegirl was just running, a bunch of dope back from Mexico. So she would just like bring me ounces of heroin so I could just do that. And I was doing a lot of ketamine, like fucking going really heavy on that. And then I would try to do the ketamine to get off the fucking opiates, whatever, all this shit. She ends up getting arrested. So then like I lose my plug, I got hurt during that time, a couple different like gnarly injuries as a result of doing drugs.
Like what?
uh like I'll tell you the story, but I don't know if we'll keep it on
All right.
here.
Okay.
Okay. So
You can
like
take it out if you want.
so like one time I don't even think I should tell this.
All right.
Yeah, people know, but
Okay.
I fucking crazy shit, dude.
Do you want to tell me and we'll just know to take it out? You don't have to tell me if you don't want to.
No, I could tell you.
All right,
That's
tell me.
fine.
But Matt, we'll take this out.
Yeah. So like, all right. So like,
Please.
I break my arms, right? Like I'm on my bike.
Both?
Yeah, both my elbows. I eat shit down the strand. I break both my elbows, right? And so so that takes me out for like 6 months, okay? And so I get like, I'm like, all right, I can start doing shit again. You know what I mean? Like I get cleared. I went to a Bitcoin conference in fucking, Miami, right? And so like I go to Miami, and I just fucking party the whole time, right? Like so I bring a bunch of fucking, I bring a bunch of fentanyl, doing all the drugs, drinking everything, right? Like the last flight's coming home, okay? And so I'm up all night fucking rolling with my friend. We go to go home and our flight gets canceled. Okay. So then like I stand in line like all day, right? Like for like I'm in line waiting to get like new tickets, like for like the flight lands in San Diego before I get tickets, right? Like from like that's how long, like 6-7 hours, something like that. So now I'm up, because I was just gonna sleep on this flight home. Okay. So I'm up. We go to a hotel. I'm running out of fentanyl. It's this whole gnarly shit, right? So I get back to my boy's house. He lives in like Petco Park. I have this big fucking vial of ketamine, dude. I got fentanyl there too. I'm like, all right, let's go. Like, let's party. And so, I am ketamine. Like, that's my get down, So like, I'm shooting up ketamine, fucking smoking fentanyl. And I'm sitting on his toilet. I'm taking a shit, right? And I pass out and I lean forward. The underside of his toilet seat is like really sharp and like presses against my dick, right? And so I pass out and I fall off the toilet and my dick is cut and skin rips right off of it. Yeah. Yeah, just like just the fucking gloves.
Oh no.
My cock. Yeah.
Are you okay now? Oh, Drew. Oh my God. Oh, that's not funny. That's really sad and tragic. I mean, it's funny, but it's sad and tragic.
It was sad and tragic, dude. Trust me, it was really sad and tragic when it happened to me. And so yeah, so then like
I wish you would leave that in, but I understand not wanting to.
Uh, I
Okay.
mean, I've told people, but I just don't, you know what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean?
No, I understand.
Like,
Oh my
and
gosh.
so like,
Did it wake you up that second or no?
bro, I'm laying there, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? And I saw my dick without the skin on it and just like white muscle. And like, you should, no man should ever have to see that. And I'm like lying on the floor and I call my buddy, I'm like, bro, help. And he's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, "Ugh," and it's like all his blood. He like throws me like a dish towel. We're fucked up, right? And so I'm like, no, I need to go to the hospital. And he like, I had like Medi-Cal, and he had like looked at like this paper I had on like my fucking, like counter, like, like not that long before. So he like knew like what hospital like I could go to, right? So we drive to the hospital, and like fucking this lady's like, oh, oh, and I did a fat shot of ketamine, right? Before like big fill 3 milliliters, fucking boom, blast off. So I'm feeling pretty good. And we pull up to the hospital. She's like, what's wrong? And I just like show her. She's like, holy shit, and like rushes me in the back. And then I'm sitting there, and then this other dude comes back, and he's like, okay, what's going on? And I show him. He's like, oh fuck, we need a doctor, right? And these people, they're freaking out, right? Like there's a lot of blood, like my dick's all fucked up and the skin's like hanging off and shit. And and then this doctor comes, and he's like looking at it. I'll always remember this shit. And he's like, oh, so it's okay, so what have you been doing tonight? It's like, oh, I'm like, oh, just a little ketamine. He's like, okay. And I remember this nurse is like coming over with like the cart with all the meds, and he just like turns to her and like goes like, and then she just fucking drives off, well, goes off. And so then they stitch me up, like he like stitched it up and shit. And then like, dude, my shit was bad, bro. Like before we went to Miami, I got this new couch, and like I got rid of my old couch, but they couldn't get my new couch into my house. So I had no couch. And so I just went home to my pad, and it was just like a fucking like opiate den. I just had like all this fucking blankets and pillows on the floor and just ice on my dick. And I'm just like smoking fentanyl and doing ketamine. And like, bro, and like my dick looked like if you're like a retarded 12-year-old with like elephantitis, like fucking just went ham on it, right? It was horrible, dude. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I fucked forever? Is this shit ever gonna fucking work again? Like it was like it was fucking crazy, dude. It was a very existential crisis
Yeah, I
shit,
bet. Yes.
like,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
so like
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I'm just gonna kill myself. You know what I mean? Like if my fucking dick doesn't ever work, like, and so yeah, it was pretty fucking gnarly. So the point of that story is like I did not get sober after that, but that was like
Okay.
a thing that like
Okay.
had happened. I'm like, dude,
Okay.
life is
Like maybe it's not
getting kind of crazy here, and like I'm not really happy with what I'm doing. I had this gnarly acid trip with like some of my friends, and like I had like this. I was like, these people are just gonna let. I was like all fucked up on acid and ketamine in the pool, and I was convinced they were just gonna let me drown, right? And I'm like, dude, like you can't just keep doing, like, you can't say you won't, and I like want things in my life, right? Like it's like, like I wanted to have like a normal life and like a
Yeah.
family and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, dude, you can't just like say you want shit, but just like
do
fucking,
nothing
yeah,
for it.
but just like still just,
Live
sit,
like
yeah,
this.
just do drugs all the time, right?
Right.
Like you can't like
Yeah.
hate the way things are and then still, but not do anything about it.
Yeah.
And so like is the culmination of things that finally at the end, and then my friend, she got arrested. And so now I have to fucking find heroin, right? And I'm like getting it from people on Craigslist who sell like roofing tar, and I have to drive around because I don't want to do fentanyl. And I'm meeting this dude, and he's like selling dope on like a drone, right? And he's like flying the drone and like with the bag, and I take it and I put the money in, and he flies away, right? Up in like fucking, up north, dude. And somewhere like in Orange County, but like Long Beachish or whatever, fucking, you know what I mean? And I just remember like it was like right around like, Thanksgiving or Christmas, and I was like in the fucking this parking lot smoking heroin, and I went to In and Out, and then I see like these cops coming, right? Like flashing, and I'm like, oh shit. So I take my bag and I tie it up and I put it in my, milkshake, and I hide it, and then it wasn't the cops, it's just a security guard, like normal lights. And I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Because I hadn't, like, I'm doing heroin again now, but I hadn't done it for like 10 years,
Yeah.
right? And so I'm like, bro, you're smoking heroin again, you're by yourself in like this fucking mall, and like I'm seeing people and they're like holiday shopping, like families, and I'm like, dude, you need to get your shit together. So I'm like, I'm going to fucking Hawaii for a month. And I'm getting fucking sober. And I'm just gonna go on vacation, and I'll just have a good time, and that's gonna be fine. And then by the time I got home, I was like, maybe I should just go to rehab. And so then I started like looking around for like a rehab. Then I went to rehab, and again, I just wanted to get off opiates, you know, like so that way I was just gonna be like Cali sober after that, just drink, smoke weed like a normal person. It was gonna be fine. And then when I was in treatment, some dude's like, well, why don't you just try like being completely sober? And I was just like, what? It literally had never occurred to me, like at all, that like you could do that, you know? And so like I got real lucky, man. Like I was the only person in this treatment, like in this house, you know, this detox for like 3 weeks. So I was just there by myself. And so like I just programmed with like this cat, like he just like dragged me along while he just basically did his thing. And so I just went to all these meetings and shit, you know, and then I left and like
And that was your sobriety date? What's your sobriety date?
12/26/21.
So you were seeing holiday shopping and affected you.
Yeah, I was seeing that, and then I was supposed to go to see my cousin. Like, I was gonna go in after New Year's, right? And then I was supposed to go to my cousin's for Christmas, and then he called me and he's like, "Dude, the kids are sick. I don't know if it's COVID." I'm like, "Well, fuck, if I get COVID, then I can't go into treatment, right? They're not gonna let me in." And so I was just like, "Fuck it." And that was like Christmas, and so then the next day I just drove up there, and I was fucking smoking dope on the way there, and I almost crashed my car pulling in the fucking driveway, and I was like, "Oh, all right, here we go."
And that's your sobriety date.
Yeah, that's it. So that's it. I count it as like the day I checked into fucking treatment.
Yeah.
Other people do their own shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, 12/26/21. So then I did that. Then I came back to Oceanside. I had a little fucking meeting app, and I went to Sobriety Rocks, and then
And you went to HA
and then
Saturday?
Janice is like, you should go to CA on fucking Monday night. And this is when CA was over, like off like El Camino. They weren't in Harding Street at the time. I was there. And then like
Holy
this
shit.
chick's like, yo, all my fucking heroin addicted homies, come check it out. And it was fucking Hannah. And so like I'm like, oh,
Hannah, you guys, I've interviewed her before too. She had the great episode about she was in Salt Lake City too.
yeah, Hannah's awesome. And so
I've interviewed Vegas too.
yeah. And so I went to HA on Saturday.
And I'm sure Kevin was there.
Yeah, and fucking Kevin, this motherfucker,
This
dude.
motherfucker.
I see him once, right? And I go to like one meeting, and then I go to the next, like it's like the second or third meeting I'm there, and like they fellowship after, right? And like I had like bought these like dope like Ferragamo tennis shoes like for myself for New Year's when I was in treatment. I wore them to the meeting, and I'm like there fellowshipping. He's like, bro, he's like, were those Ferragamos that you were wearing last time? I'm like, yeah. He's like, why the fuck are you even sober, bro? Like, who the fuck are you?
Pull your
man?
mic over a little.
You know? And so like
I love Kevin, and this makes me want to cry because and guys just listening, I thought that going to meetings would be the end of me. And all of the people that he just listed, I love and I laugh talking about. And like it makes me want to cry to think about Hannah saying that. And I've interviewed you know what I mean?
yeah, all these people are like
They're amazing.
really good friends of mine now.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And like they don't like get anything from me. You know what I mean? Like they're not like using me for anything.
Yeah.
I'm like not using them for anything. Like they're just like, you know,
Holy
sick fucking
shit,
junkies
Drew.
like me. You know what I mean?
Holy
And
shit.
so yeah, so I went there and I went to HA and I started going, and I was told I was supposed to ask for commitment. And so I did, and they're like,
What was your
well,
commitment
like,
at that
They
meeting?
gave me a literature commitment at first. And they're like, are you gonna be able to come every week? And I'm like, well, dude, like I'm going out of town in like April, so I'm not gonna be here that. And they're like, oh yeah, that's fine. You know what I mean? Like, okay, here. And so then I'd have to go to the meeting. They told me I had to be there a half hour early for literature, right? And so like I'd go, it takes 2 minutes to fucking, and so then I just have to sit there and just not talk to anyone and be like awkward as fuck, right? For like a half hour. I'm like, dude, this is the stupidest. I fucking hate this so much. That was like by this time, like fucking where I was at, like in like after like COVID especially and shit, like it really fucked me up. I was doing a lot of drugs, like a lot of like K and shit, like like disassociation stuff, and just like didn't like, I don't know, dude, like I wasn't really good at like connecting people, you know what I mean? And so like, and then now I'm sober, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I just didn't even care. Like, to be honest with you, like I didn't like people.
When did you stop hating it?
I mean, I
And
still
start
hate it to this
connecting.
fucking day.
You do?
I'm just kidding.
You didn't say that.
No, I'm joking. Dude, it was just,
By the time I met you, you weren't awkward or anything. You were really nice.
oh yeah, no, it just, dude, I mean, it just happened. It was just getting the reps in, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like just like over
Yeah.
and over, like
That's funny that you knew me as the doghouse chick
Yeah,
and saw me
yeah.
lead a couple of meetings. That's funny.
Yep. And so it's just, I mean, I just kept doing it, dude. I didn't have any other option, right? Like that's the whole thing is like, by this point, like every single thing that I thought in my head, like I tried it all. Like I tried doing all the drugs, I tried doing rapid detoxes, I tried doing this, that, like every like thing that I could think of, like I had had happen to
Every
me.
machination, every system that you could possibly try to employ other than just getting sober and going to meetings, you had
That
tried.
was something I never had done that. You know what I mean? Like I had been to meetings at that other thing, but I never tried this. I had never
Gotten a
tried working a
sponsor, any of that
program.
bullshit. Your experience with the steps. Like, do you have a favorite step, and how did the steps impact you?
So like, I mean, for me, I could never, when I had to read the steps when I was in that place, like, inpatient place, for the 6 months, the idea of step 3,
Oh, sure.
like just completely, I did not like, how can you turn your will over? Right. Like, I don't what does that even fucking mean? Like, obviously I'm the one in charge. I'm the one making decisions and I'm doing stuff. Right. Like that's just like, I could not, it was something that I just couldn't even comprehend. By the time that I, got here, I'd done a lot of stuff. Like there's spiritual practices I incorporated. I did sweat lodge, Native American sweat lodge for 10 years. That's something that I picked up at that place and I kept doing. And so like I kind of had more of a like relationship with God, and like I was able to just like really like turn that over. And so like I had like, multiple third step experiences, but I think a big one for me was just like when I was in that treatment center and just being like, oh, like, like, yeah, maybe I'll just actually try being sober. You know what I mean? Just seeing like what happens, with like this.
And that was a moment of turning it over.
Yeah, yeah. And so
Okay.
like that, I would say that's probably my favorite one.
How do you turn things over now? This is still my biggest question, because it's not that I question the, like, importance of it or that it works. I will get caught up in, but what does that mean? Because I still have to take action.
I mean, for me, it's just I think when I turn it over now, it's just the way I do it is just kind of I look at where I am right now and I look at like where I'm, so like kind of like playing back the tape. Like, how they say, like, if you're about to go out, like play the tape through, you know what I mean? Be like, oh, like what's going to happen? If you do this, you do, right? I play the tape in reverse. You know what I mean? And I think about all the times when I was stressed out and I was tripping on something because things weren't going like my way and I didn't know what it was. And I just like worked the program and took the next indicated step and just did what was in front of me. And then things did work out, and way better than me. And
Totally.
so that's like
Okay,
just
okay.
kind of like how I am with it now. You know what I mean? It's
So it
like,
allows you to have more faith when you're concerned. That is kind of how it works for me too, especially lately.
yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just like, like I just trust the process. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't, because there's a lot of stuff, my life still, you know what I mean? To this day, like I get like, there's plenty of shit that like I'm stressed out about, or I'm like, what are you even fucking doing? Or you know what I mean? Like this decision or that decision or whatever, like, but it's just like trusting that, like, because I felt this way before, you know what I mean? Like about shit. And then
Yeah.
it was
And the
okay.
right thing
Yeah,
happened. Totally.
like God did direct things the way that it was supposed to be for
Yeah.
me. And so like just going back to that and just like not getting caught up in it. I mean, I'll spend some time getting caught up in it for sure, but like I'm able to, like sit and meditate about it and pray about it and think about it and then just remember that and be like, all right, and just kind of, yeah, turn it over, let it
Yeah.
go.
What is your meditation practice now?
I mean, it's kind of weak right now, honestly, to be to be straight, just like spending some quiet time, like, 5 minutes in the morning when I get up, like prayer. I used to be gnarly. There's so much more shit that we talk. I wish we didn't, honestly, like, I mean, like I'm a Kundalini teacher, you know what I mean? So like I got
We
like
could do a part 2 at some point.
I got really into like Kundalini.
Since sobriety?
Yeah,
Oh,
like in
okay.
like sobriety. So I like got like gnarly into like Kundalini and like real like gnarly meditations and chanting mantra and like doing all that stuff. So that used to be
I
like,
did the TM course.
okay, I want to do that too.
Yeah.
Like I know someone do. really want to learn about like transcendental meditation and like I've heard good things about it.
Yeah, I don't do it. I should. It's supposed to be 20 minutes twice a day, but I got my little mantra and everything. I went to the classes in Carlsbad. Like I paid for the whole deal. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And so like that was, something I did and that was like really like important to me. You know what I mean? Like finding like I had to find like my own kind of like spiritual path. And so like when I was doing that a lot, like I felt like it was, I don't know, I felt better to be honest with you. Like this is something like this is honestly like kind of like a sore point for me because like I need to be doing more about
Same.
it, but I'm just like,
Me
I
too.
don't know. I mean, it might sound lame, but like the gym, you know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
I
right now, like
obviously.
like
Yeah.
that's like probably that's the place where like, these days where I'm really just kind of like into like a flow state and like I
Yeah.
just go and like not worry about anything and just like, just get after it and like my body feels good and I'm not thinking about like other stuff and just like that, like
So what does your life look like today? We're 4.5 years in?
yeah,
Okay.
almost, yeah.
What's going on in your life today?
I mean, it's it's completely different than anything that I would have imagined. 4.5 years sober. See, best shape that I've ever been in my life. Healthy. I own a business. I own a treatment center. I get to help guys, work with guys.
So men's mental health.
It's men's
It's mental health and substance use.
yeah, substance
Okay.
abuse primary, yeah, for
Okay.
men.
Okay.
And like we're honestly like we're men focused on men and men's issues, right? You know what I mean? Like really like bringing like men's work to this. There's a lot of places that are maybe gender specific and like they're just men, but like you know what I mean? Like that just means like there's no women there, Like we really like work on like creating a container that's safe for men so that they can examine who they are. Like
Okay.
we focus a lot on like healthy masculinity for us, like the way we say that is like helping men like identify like values that are important in their lives, how they want to show up for like their family, their wives, their like community, things like that. And finding those things that matter so that they can, have a life of purpose and stay sober.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
So that's like kind of like what we're trying to do with that.
What's the name of it again?
Sacred Journey Recovery.
Okay. I can put it in the show notes if you want me to.
Yeah, that's fine.
Drew's not good at marketing this one thing.
Yeah.
You can sell everything else, apparently.
Yeah. But
No, it's weird. No, it's weird. But
yeah, I don't know. It feels weird for
yeah,
sure.
to like talk about, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that.
But like, I mean,
You live in a badass spot.
yeah, I got a pretty sick pad. I live in Carlsbad now, downtown in the village. That's
Yeah.
cool.
And that's I won't say any other identifying factors, but where it is. When you told me that, I was like, oh my God, I love that place.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really nice,
I like
yeah.
Carlsbad.
I like Carlsbad too.
I mean, dude, I was driving to the gym the other day and there's the compound in Solana Beach. I don't know if you know it.
Oh wait, it's a wellness place or something? What is it?
No, it's a gym.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
gym. It's
Okay.
a new gym that just
Okay.
opened. And I was driving there. It was like Sunday, and like I was just like, dude, like my life, I just like was just filled with gratitude. Like I went to the gym and then I got and I just cruised the PCH, back to my pad. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a beautiful day. Like we live in like San Diego. Like this is like my favorite city, like in the country. Like I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. I never want to live anywhere where it's fucking cold or snowy or anything. It's perfect here. It's like. It's hard here, right? And it's expensive.
It's hard and it's expensive. We go through periods where we're like, oh, we should move to Georgia, whatever. But like, I really like it here.
Yeah, I don't know. My cousin, when I first moved out here, he told me, he's like, listen, man, he's like, this is like the best place to live. He's like, but San Diego, like, you have to earn it. Like, it'll make you work for it. That's what he told me when I moved out here 14 years ago, on the run from fucking a bunch of charges in Utah with like fucking, I don't know, $6,000 in my pocket.
That's true. I have made it work. Like I moved to LA in 2002 with, this is totally true, a busted ass Saturn also. And I had $600 in my shoe. That's it. And 1 month rent paid in Koreatown. That's it. And that was 25 years ago.
25 years ago?
24 years ago, 2002.
Jesus.
That's when I moved out here.
Yeah.
I told you more than you.
Oh yeah, you're from Georgia, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a long time ago.
Yeah, and see, then like, why would you want to leave?
Yeah. Well, to buy a house, but like ideally, well, because they're really expensive. It's like it's literally at a point where like, you know what I mean? But like, Skylar just got promoted to assistant super. That's where he was when he relapsed a few years ago, and so I think for a minute he really felt like, will I ever even get that back? Because he was at like a top part. He'd been recruited for this great job, and then he kind of lost, and so I think he lost a lot of confidence in that too, and
Totally.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so
for
it's
sure.
like, you never, but it is also, you have to put a ton of money down on a house.
I don't know, man. When it comes, I don't own a home, right?
Oh, you don't?
I don't own a home.
Oh.
I don't know if I, think home ownership is maybe like.
But
the
don't you
best
have
of-
to be secure?
Nah, I mean, like
Okay.
I would rather own assets that.
I mean, I
produce,
believe you.
that
I know you
produce-
know a lot about this.
I would rather own assets that produce income. So like in the way that
Okay.
our economy is going, I
Okay.
think with like the just inflation and stuff like that, like, just like, sure, it's great to own a home, right? And if, like, you have, like, the money to do it, like, it's good, especially here in, like, San Diego, because this is basically a perpetual bubble, right? You know, so, like, it's always gonna go up, but, like, like, what? If you wanna buy a home and you gotta put, like, 20% down, you know what I mean? You're
It's
gonna
a
come
ton.
yeah, like, if you have to come up with, like, 80 grand or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like,
More than
yeah,
that, but yeah.
it's like 200, right?
200.
Like, for a house, like, okay, you could do that, or what if you took that $200 and you just put it into the market, you know what I mean? And you earned on that, you know what I mean? The 200K,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you
yeah.
earn money and then you're still working. Yeah, you pay rent, and sure, that money that you pay in rent isn't going towards something that you own, right? But it's not the same as our parents, man. You know what I mean? Like, we live in, like, a different situation now, And so, like, I don't
Totally.
know, like, that's where I'm at with it. Like, sure,
Yeah.
I'd like to. It also depends too, right?
We
Like,
also don't want
yeah,
kids. So
see?
that's a big
Yeah,
plus
that's what I was
because
just
we
gonna
don't, it
say.
doesn't matter about school district or
Yes, that's what
whatever.
I was just gonna say, like, it matters, like, if you have, like,
Do
a
you want
family and
kids? Do you
kids.
care?
I mean, I'm at this point, like, I'm just, like, whatever with it.
Right.
Like, sure, I would like to, like, if
Yeah.
I meet, like, the right person, and I can have one, I would, but, like, if fucking I don't, then it is what it is.
That's kind of how Skylar felt when he met me. He was like, I guess maybe. And then after some period of time, I was like, so I don't.
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? And he was like, yeah, I don't really care. I was like, okay, because if you want to, we can, but you should tell me now.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like the idea, but then also, like, it kind of stresses me out. But
It's very stressful and expensive.
yeah, but I've never met anyone that's like, I wish I didn't have kids. So,
True. True. But a lot of people that I know that didn't have kids are very happy too.
yeah, I mean, maybe.
They don't think they made a mistake.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying there's that
Right,
either,
yeah.
but it's
But you're right. That's true.
like, I'll never be like, oh,
Yeah, that's true.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I made sure, like, in my life, like, to not ever have children, like, because, like, I never, for me growing up, moving around, financial insecurity and stuff like that, like, when I was younger, like, that obviously, like, had a huge impact on me and, like, my life. And I never wanted to, like, when I was younger, I never wanted to have kids and, like, not be able to provide for them, right? And then as I got older, I'm like, well, you're just a fuck up and you shouldn't be having fucking children anyway.
I was the exact same way, but for the opposite reason. I was very well provided for. Like, yes, anything I ever, I could do debate camp, I could do this camp, I could do that camp, gymnastics, cheerleading, this, that, any college you want to go to in the world, AP classes, SAT tutor. I had it all. And I was like, I will never do it any other way. I won't. It was, you know what I mean? Like, my parents did it right. And I couldn't ever do it that way again for many, many, many years. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was the same thing. I was like, I'm not having a kid without health insurance. I don't have health insurance. What if they break their leg?
Yeah, exactly.
You have to be able to take them to the doctor.
For sure.
You
It's just
know?
like, I mean, yeah, I totally get that.
So that was my exact same thing. I was like, I'm not doing it any other way.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, don't let the home ownership thing,
Yeah.
because I feel like
No, I'm
people,
glad you said that.
people
I
put a,
assumed you owned your spot.
no, not yet. Like, I'm just renting right
Yeah,
now,
right.
and, like, sure, it's on, like,
No, that's one of the only reasons why we would move. We also really like the town I'm from. We both love.
yeah.
But, I love it here more, Plus, with my career changing with more podcasting and content creation, it's been very good to have me closer to LA. There's a lot of stuff I'm doing up there.
Yeah, I mean, that makes
That's
sense.
part of
Like,
that
this is,
too,
like, the
so,
place, yeah,
yeah.
that you're gonna wanna do all that, so, well, hope that works out.
Well, Drew, see, that wasn't that hard, right?
No, that's great. Love talking about myself.
Well, it's fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
And I can tell, and I could tell that day at Seasons at the open house, because I know you're humble and you don't talk a lot, right? And I could tell, I was like, he's been sitting on some stories and it would be so fun for him to tell.
Yeah.
I'm sure you tell a couple of people here and there, but once you get going, this is what I learned at my studio. This is how I kind of got over a lot of stuff. I was at this bougie studio with 8, 9 months, whatever. And I had these crazy stories, like really wild you've heard some of my stuff, right? Like my turtles that I used to walk through Pozole and bullshit, weird shit. And I would start telling my stories to these ladies just like a little at a time. And they're head to toe Lululemon, Rancho Santa Fe. And they're like crying, laughing. And it's like their favorite thing ever.
See,
And the more I started telling them, I was like, man, this shit is funny, dude. I can't believe any of that happened.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's like, dude, like, we all just have that shit. So, like, who, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's
but
true. I
some
mean,
of it
that's
is
how
a little more
that's how I think
interesting.
in my head. I'm like, dude, no one fucking really gives a fuck.
That's kind of what I thought too, but they did. And the people that listen to, if you read some of the reviews on the podcast,
Yeah.
like I got one last week, the title of it was a lifeline when I needed it. And I was like, what? And I read it and it was like, my husband relapsed. This is a lifeline for me when I needed it the most, blah, blah, blah. Another one is like, I found my new best friends. Like it really helps people a lot to share, more so than I would have thought. And so there's that too. And I know it does feel that way. Like, why would this be any different? Especially for me because of where I got sober. It was all like that. I got clean in really like, kind of crappy areas. My stories weren't even that bad.
Yeah, I mean, you
And then I
never know what's
learned
gonna
later.
resonate with people,
Right,
right?
totally.
I mean, I feel like the message definitely to take away is that
Yeah.
I am sober now. You know what I mean? And
Yes! With 4.5
yeah,
years.
and like, like
After years and years and years of using.
yeah, exactly. Like my life is like really great. Like one of
You and
like
your brother are still close?
yeah,
What about your other
I was gonna
brother?
no.
Okay.
I was gonna say like, like that's one of like the best things in the world. Like, cause me and my one brother, we did a lot of drugs together. And like as a result of me like getting sober out here, like I was in a place that when he finally needed to make a change, you know what I mean? Like I was able to just like, tell him like this is what I did, you know what I mean? And like help like, facilitate him to be able to, do what he needed to do, you know what I mean? So that he could do the work and so then he can make a change, which that's like really awesome for me,
Yeah.
you know?
When did you quit talking to your dad? No details or anything, but when was that?
So, I last time I talked to him was right before I got sober,
Okay,
you
so it's been
know?
a minute.
Yeah, it's been
Okay.
a while. I mean, dude, there's so much gnarly shit with him.
Yeah.
Like, fucking
He's still alive, though.
yeah, he's alive. Yeah.
What about your mom? Any relationship
Oh,
there?
yeah, great relationship.
Oh, good.
My mom's awesome.
Okay.
So, like, I'm really close to her. She's
Oh,
someone that,
good.
like,
She must be
always
really proud of you.
yeah, she always supported me through, everything, you know what I mean? So, like, like, there's yeah, I don't know. We have a good relationship. She's happy I'm not dead,
Yeah.
shit like that. So she's coming out here next month, so that'll be
Oh,
cool.
good.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
so I'm stoked for that. Yeah,
Well, thanks, Drew. I really
yeah.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having me.